Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find him. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators and Catch Your Predator. Why don't you have a seat right over there and listen to Kyle and Brandon, our podcast. According to my chat logs, Kyle and Brandon have interesting guests.
No, I hated it.
Yeah.
Everybody's sweaty, everybody's on drugs, so they're super sweaty but also touchy, and then they touch your face, then you leave there, and the next day you have pimples.
Fantastic conversation.
He's underground in a lab, floating in a tank of water, because he almost died.
And most important, no predators.
And then it uses it as a sex puppet.
Stop it, Bryan.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet. Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. Brought to you by me, and only me. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan, and if you are brand new to this podcast, this is a comedy variety talk show where I chat with comedians, creators, and characters about the messiness of life. You guys are in for it this week. This episode is literally everything I love about Intoxicated. This week I welcome one of my favorite human beings on planet Earth. And though he is a newer friend of mine, I am so happy to have met him. Bryan Otter is back on the podcast by himself this time. And oh boy, you guys, this episode, I knew when Bryan was coming on that it would be a wild ride of an episode, and it did not disappoint. This is a Rogan length episode. This is 2.5 hours, but it doesn't feel like it, and it certainly didn't feel like it when we were recording. I honestly think Bryan and I could record like a 5-hour podcast like nothing. Fucking love this episode. It is jam-packed with us discussing our lives and our issues, how we are both people pleasers, and how we stumble through life needing validation and the challenges of that. There's a lot to unpack with both of us. We both have a lot of stuff going on, and it's very refreshing to me to talk to somebody who can talk about these things. This is one of the many reasons why I'm so glad to have made friends with Bryan. He is seriously one of the most genuine people that I know, honestly. And just such a fucking blast. Makes me laugh so hard. And of course, anyone who knows Bryan knows that he is just full of stories. And there's lots of stories in this episode that are just so funny and real. I freaking love this one. You really do need to follow Bryan Otter at Definitely Not Otter on Instagram. And buckle in for this episode. Grab a snack. It's a freaking good one. Before I get to that, I do want to give a massive shout out to Patreon. I revamped the Patreon and got literally 3 new Patreons because of it. So I want to give a big thank you to my current Patreons, especially a new one that just signed up. And this one gets a bell ring because this Patreon came in as a high roller with a $20 pledge. Big ding for you. The biggest of thank yous to Michael Kennedy. Now, Michael is someone I actually just met recently. He is a fan of the show, and he is friends with a lot of the guests that I've had on. He was so sweet when I met him. He told me how much he loves the podcast and loves watching his friends on it. Such a nice guy. I am just blown away at the fact that you came in at $20. That is unreal. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't disappoint you. I can't say thank you enough to anyone who supports this show in any way you can. Whether that be just telling me how much you're enjoying it, telling a friend, leaving a review, any form of support is so appreciated. But a special thank you to Michael Kennedy for becoming a Patreon. And a shout out to all my other Patreons. So Evan, Carmen, and Catherine, big thank you to you guys as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you are interested in becoming a Patreon, definitely head over to patreon.com/intoxicated. Check out the reward levels. Some rewards do require a certain minimum amount of Patreons, just things like live streams and stuff like that. But there's different levels on there, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But if you cannot do that, there's many other ways to support Intoxicated as well. So you can make sure you are subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. You can leave a rating, hopefully a 5-star one, and a review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps the show out with visibility. But like I always say, the best thing that you can do to support the show is to spread the word about Intoxicated, share it on social media, tell your friends. If you have comedy lovers in your life, share Intoxicated with them. It's my hope with this podcast to put local comedy on people's radar. So definitely share with the comedy lovers in your life. Anyways, guys, that's about it. I gotta get ready to do some Taylor Swift reaction videos tonight because the bitch is dropping an album. So I got some work to do, but I'm so excited for this episode. I love this one. You guys are gonna love it too. Please enjoy this week's episode with Bryan Otter.
All right. Like having to be like, I'm a better person now, and everybody be like, you look so good. And so I'm like, oh, this eating disorder is amazing. This eating disorder is helping me out.
Man,
and then so it becomes who you are as opposed to a thing that you have to accomplish or a thing that you have to overcome. And that's fucking scary to me.
And while that's the getting the positive reinforcement when you do something like starve yourself that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because we're taught like, oh, you're losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
So people looking at you that don't know your struggles go, oh, he's being healthier.
Yep.
But they don't know how you're getting that health.
Yep.
And in the end, it's not healthy.
No, it's the opposite of. I was way better off when I was fat and had pimples because of Pepsi than I am now that I'm passing out because I'm malnourished. But now I'm passing out and people are going, "You're so pretty."
Isn't
and
that
I'm going,
fucked?
It's insane.
And it's also fucked that even me, like I would never say that I've been anorexic, but I've had definitely like
Body dysmorphia?
bad like little reward synapses go off in my brain when I don't eat because I'm like, oh,
I fit in this dress that I haven't fit before.
I'm not bloated. Like if I know a guy's coming over, I just won't eat that day. Like it's because I just know I look better when I haven't eaten, but that's also because I have a bad stomach and I'm just very prone
Scared
to
to
bloating.
poop.
Yeah, that.
That's my big thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to risk that. And I just wouldn't want the bloating feeling at all. Like if I was trying to be hot.
Yeah, I get that. I'm always bloated. I feel like I look like I'm always just drenched out of a river. That's how I feel because I'm always sweaty because it's just who I am and I'm bloated. So it literally looks like somebody dragged me out of a river.
Oh my god, Bryan. That needs to be a bit. You need to make that a joke.
It should be.
I like that.
People are so fucking antsy when I do my eating because for some reason it's I don't consider myself a super attractive dude, but I'm not an ugly dude. So to be an alright looking dude being like, I have eating disorders, people go, that's not true. And then they don't believe me, so they think I'm doing the joke because it's an easy joke as opposed to this is real things that I think about literally every day of my life because I'm going through it.
That is interesting.
Yeah. There's the whole side of comedy that you have to be believable in. If people don't believe your truths, they go, he's being a piece of shit.
That's right. And that's the thing about self-deprecating comedy. Like all of my stuff is self-deprecating.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of cockiness and sassiness in some of the jokes. Like I have this one joke where I'm like, because there's something funny to me when people are like, you're single because guys are intimidated by your big personality. And I'm always just like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my entire fucking life.
Think it's a cop-out?
Absolutely. Like, your personality is too scary.
I don't think that's
little scared babies don't want a fun, loud woman. But there's this joke I have about, because when you said about you're not super hot, but you're not ugly, I have the same thing because I feel the same way about myself. And I was like, part of being single for me for 9 years has been realizing exactly where I fall on the crazy hot scale, which is not hot enough.
I like that.
And then I go into the big personality stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm told that I'm single because I have a big personality. So women in here tonight, if you have a boyfriend, you deserve it. That's great for you, but you're boring.
Nice. I like that.
I'm scared to do that one though because I don't want to offend people in the crowd.
Fuck them. They're there literally for that. Not to be you're not like yelling the N-word at them. Like you're telling them fuck you for being happy. And that's not a bad thing.
Exactly.
It's essentially just being like it's still again self-deprecating because you're like fuck you for having what I don't.
Exactly.
Is ultimately what that joke is.
Exactly.
And that's good.
Oh, good. I'm glad it kind of communicates
Translated
that way.
to yeah, for sure.
Because that's kind of what I'm going for. Where I'm like, okay, well, if that's why I'm single, if it's because I'm just so fun and it's so intimidating, then anyone in here tonight, if you have a partner, you're fucking boring. Like,
It means you have no personality.
I really like that crazy hot scale joke though, because I'm like,
if you have a boyfriend, you have the personality of a Shih Tzu.
Yeah, if I was just slightly hotter, I think I would get more guys. Or if I was slightly less more like crazy, I think I would. I'm just like kind of not.
Should we draw this graph?
Yeah.
This crazy hot graph, what it would look like?
I mean, you're all about the graphs, Bryan.
It's my favorite way to explain things to people. It's literally my favorite way to explain things to people because you can explain super weird like premises by graphing them out and just having people go like, oh, that's ridiculous. Exactly. And then they remember it just because you took the time to graph it out.
That's right.
It's literally how I did like all of my tutoring and shit throughout university.
Oh, did you tutored?
Yeah, that's how I got through.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yes, I tutored. That's how I got through school. I only stopped because it got creepy a little bit and I stopped being comfortable.
It got creepy? Okay, wait. Pause that thought. I want to make this last.
Are you kidding me? You can see every drop on my forehead. Yeah, but you have like Chris Halef and fucking Matt Baker who are all like godly, like Greek god tan. Fucking assholes being happy and outside all the time. I'm so goddamn jealous.
Chris isn't outside all the time.
He probably is. He has to run around looking for drama. He's he's a news guy, so he just runs around looking for
drama.
trouble. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. I see what you mean. I thought you meant like comedy drama, like starting fights and
Well,
stuff.
that too.
Oh my gosh, we should let's open the episode because otherwise we'll just like do the whole episode and I won't even say who you are and why you're here.
We'll have to go. We have to go backwards and be like, the intro to the episode is the last 30 seconds of the episode. Hi guys, welcome to Intoxicated Podcast. Bonsoir tout le monde, bienvenue à Intoxicated Podcast avec Sarah McClellan.
Oh, you did better than Mitch. Mitch tried to do a little French intro in his episode that just came out yesterday.
He's also trying to look like Justin Timberlake. Like, I don't know.
Mind you, he really does look like.
I'm jealous.
It's crazy.
The first time I saw him, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like him for 5 minutes. Because I was immediately I was like, this guy dresses weirder than I do. He has weirder hair than I do, but yet he's confident and everybody loves him. What the fuck's going on? And I immediately, my like little boy inside of me was like, this isn't fair. I don't know why. But then like after talking to the guy for like 5 minutes, I love razzing him because he reminds me a lot of the friends that I had growing up. So like I really like him now. But for the first like 5 minutes, I was being shitty.
Oh wow. I remember like seeing him and just being like, who's this kid? Like who's this guy just like being all confident, like just coming in hot, like cause
fucking coming in on a grind on his skateboard, being like, I'm cool. And you're like, I get it.
With new comics, when you see people like who are new, with men especially, like I do feel like there's this like more quieter, laid back presence on stage. And he didn't have that at all. Like he was pretty charismatic right away. So
was he in like church choir or something?
I'm not sure. We should find out.
I'll ask him sometime. Be like, why you like this?
Why are you?
Did nobody hurt you growing up? How are you like this?
It's coming. I feel like with people like he's 21.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you have a good life, you know, if you're popular in high school, all that, like it's gonna come eventually. You're gonna get your. He's gonna get his trauma. Guys,
I hope I miss trauma.
I'm so excited right now. Like this is because I just know this one's gonna be a wild ride. I hear with like one of my favorite humans on this planet, Bryan Otter.
Thank you for having me. This is super fun. I've been excited for this. I got asked by my friends to come up to Halifax to do like a weird family reunion thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, of course. And then immediately as I said yes, I texted you about it like 30 seconds later because in the back of my brain I was like, I get to see Sarah and hang out with Sarah and maybe do a podcast and this is gonna be fucking super fun. So I'm like super jazzed that you asked me to come here.
Someone who like when I first met you, I didn't like when you came on for the first time, I didn't know you as well.
Yeah, because we had never met. We had spoken online only. And
then it was so fun. It was great. But then since then, like I've learned all these different layers to who you are, all these weird crevices of like your brain. Like
There's a lot of crevices.
There's a lot going on here, and that's why I'm so excited to have you back, because like I feel like even still, like there's just more episodes to come with you. Like we're not going to cover.
There's always more to unpack.
It's just kind of unbreaking the iceberg bit by bit.
I'm an unorganized airport. At this point, I have so much baggage. Like it's that's who I am.
Do you think it's baggage though?
Oh,
like, do you view it as that? Right.
No, but the airport doesn't realize that it's a problem either, right? It's only the people who have to deal with their shit that think it's a problem.
Ooh, shit. That's an interesting way to look at it.
I'm glad I said it on recording because now I'm realizing it and I'm getting sad.
Oh, no.
No, I'm joking.
But you're right. But it's like when you live with yourself, when you've been through shit and you live with it in yourself, you get so used to it and you don't realize, like, you sometimes don't realize how fucked up it is until it impacts someone else.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't understand somehow when people go through things and they're just like, oh, people don't take your shoes with a knife from regular people? That's not a regular thing? So it's just like, I don't know. I've gone through a lot of bizarre things, so nothing really surprises me anymore.
Right.
So because of that, I talk about it as if it wouldn't surprise anyone. And there's a lot of people who have never experienced bad things, I guess. And I'm jealous of them and I'm super happy for them, but I come off as a lot.
Oh, but like I do too. And like that's like the coming off as a lot thing is like that's such part of my
big personality.
Like my narrative almost.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well, I don't think it's your narrative. It's kind of the structure that then makes that narrative.
Yes.
Because I don't know, it's the thing. If you make a little Lego tower and stuff, the tower's only going to have the same integrity as all the little blocks that you use to build it to the top, right? Kind of stuff. And if they're fucking, I don't know, if those were left outside in the rain and the wind and the shit running all over it, you're going to see that on the tower.
It's going to start to crumble. Yeah, that's interesting.
Or you can be a strong, weird-looking tower. That's my goal.
That's what I am, too. Have you ever felt the need to change for somebody?
All the time. That's who I am. This is my biggest problem.
Oh, my God. We're just getting right into it. I didn't think I'd unpack it so quick.
Holy shit. Wow. Thanks for having me back. 3 minutes in. What's your trauma?
Well, the other thing is, because I was thinking about it before you came over, I was like, because there was a moment in the chat recently where we were talking about like how some of us are like concerned about coming off stupid.
Yeah.
To people.
That's to be fair, that's like my favorite thing to do. When somebody says something that it's like super obvious, I like to be like, oh, really? And I act like I thought it was the opposite just to get like a reaction from people. But then you do that with strangers and then they think you're dumb. And then you go, oh, no. Like, people don't realize that this is a joke.
Fuck, it happens to me all the time. I hate that.
Stop thinking of everyone as your friends. That's the problem.
Oh, my God. You're so right.
That's my problem.
And for me, and I don't know how you deal with it when that happens, and you're like, oh, they didn't get it. I get angry. Like, deep down, I feel angry when I'm misunderstood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you an only child?
No, but I'm the youngest, and my sisters are older.
Fair. I'm also the youngest.
Yeah.
I've gone to a doctor for a lot of years to not be angry at things anymore. So, like, I'm very lucky for that. So I don't... Before, I was angry about literally everything. I was always mad. And then now, I can't be bothered to be mad. Because there's so much stupid going on in the world all the time that you could just be mad all of the time. And I was like, it takes up so much energy, and I just like eating Smarties and laying in the sun. Like, I don't want to be mad. Like, it's so fucking exhausting.
It's true. It does take mental gymnastics to get yourself out of anger. Like, I've done a couple therapy sessions, but nothing consistent to a point where like anything happened out of them. Which is like, I want nothing more than to be in therapy. Like, I will make it known. Like, I just don't have the money for it right now. I don't have benefits. What's that?
Have you heard of ink blot therapy?
Is this the one that you were talking about during quarantine? The online therapy?
Hi, Intoxicated Podcast, brought to you by InBlockTherapy.com. It's an online, it's like it's therapy by Zoom call, essentially. And you go on and you have a bunch of very credible doctors who, when they have off time and they're not meeting clients, they put their time up on this app, and then you can book their time, and it's usually like $30 to $40, and you get a half an hour with this doctor. And the cool thing is there's doctors from all over Canada, so there's different time zones. So you can have a therapy session at 1 a.m. if that's your true self. Because like, you know, when you wake up, you're different for every person, but like you wake up and you might not be yourself, and you're just like weirdly grumpy, and people talk to you and you snap, even though that's not who you are, and then you only become like your true self at a certain point of the day. For me, it's like late at night. That's why I like comedy. I have all day to just be miserable and wallow, and then the sun goes down, and then I get to feel like myself, and I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking hang out and have a good time. People can't see me sweating. It's dark.
Comedy's a nighttime activity.
It's a night owl thing. Yeah, you have to be a weirdo to.
100%. It's very weird to see comedy in the daylight. It's strange. Even at Gus's Pub, which starts at 8 o'clock, which is still daylight out here in Halifax, like
during the summer, yeah.
It's weird because like the sun is beating in on this like little dive bar, and like
it feels like you're giving a lecture more than doing comedy during the day. That's the big problem.
Yeah,
and that's why night classes don't work.
Yeah.
Because people don't take their profiteers.
See, I'm the same as you, though. I'm wired at nighttime. I feel like I'm the most energetic, most productive, most, like, my brain feels the most at ease at night.
Yeah, that's normal. I read online that just means we're unhealthy.
I heard somewhere, I don't remember which podcast it was, that it goes back like to your ancestors, like so if you're a night person, you have something in your blood or in your DNA that your ancestors back then used to be like the night watchers or the people who like kept guard at night. And so that's why some people are naturally night people. I have a theory that night people are better than morning people because night people are more adaptable.
Night people.
Because we're forced to kind of live in this social construct of like, you got to be up by 9 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. And so a lot of night people still work day jobs. They will be miserable about it. They will be miserable, but they will still do it. Whereas morning people, you don't often see morning people out past 11.
No, you don't, because they have to go to work in the morning.
Like, I feel like night people are more adaptable than morning people. You just
made me realize something about my own life.
I will die on that hill. I don't care. If you're a morning person, there's no judgment. In fact, I often wish I was one, just for productivity's sakes. Like,
you want to be a normie?
I feel when I sleep late, even though like I go to bed late, if I sleep late, I feel bad.
Like morally, or you feel sick?
Morally.
Why?
I don't know. I wake up at like 1 or 2, and I'm just like, I feel like a piece of garbage. People have already worked half their day.
Some people haven't woken up yet.
That's true too.
Right?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
If you're basing yourself off of that, we're in the Maritimes. So technically, you're waking up at 2 o'clock. You're waking up with someone in Vancouver time. Like,
that's true.
You're being as productive as somebody who's in Vancouver right now.
Yeah, it's just this weird thing.
California.
It's this weird pressure I have in my head where I still feel, I think it's because too, if you want to do comedy, you do have to still work and sustain your life, and so a lot of people do have to do day jobs, but then they have to have the energy to do comedy at nighttime. So
you just get through your day job with least effort as possible. Or I just smoke a bunch of weed at night until I forget that I'm tired, and then I just sling jokes. That's kind of my thing.
I want more late night comedy shows. Like 10 p.m.
Late night?
10 p.m. start.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would be all on board for that. One time I did a show at 2 a.m. in the morning. It was the worst experience of my life.
Was it at Hell's?
No. It was a depressing experience to say the least, but it was fun. We got asked to do a festival called, I won't say it. We were asked to do a festival, and I had come up for the weekend. I was in Halifax, and my buddy was here, and he saw me, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to do a music festival with me?" And I said, "Fuck yeah." And he said, "It's tomorrow." And I said, "Okay, we're down." And then I also hadn't slept in a couple days because I broke into and slept on a party boat downtown Halifax one night. So I didn't have a place to stay. So I was exhausted.
Most Bryan Otter thing I've ever heard in my life.
Man, I've lived all over the city. It's not a
You slept on the party boat?
Yeah, I had company. I was safe. Don't worry.
Imagine you by yourself on a party boat just drifting around.
No, I made a new friend, and they didn't believe that that's where I was going, and they agreed to join me like a weirdo.
That is hilarious.
Essentially. Where was that going from?
2 a.m. comedy show.
Oh yeah. So I was exhausted and I was run out, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. And then me and my buddy Evan Steves. Has Evan ever done your podcast?
No, Evan, come on.
Evan, come on the Intoxicated Podcast. You're
I love Evan.
I me too. He's my homeboy. Him and I went together, and he was like, okay, cool. So then we drove to the festival, and we got there at 8 p.m. And my buddy was like, you should be able to be on at like 10. And I was like, okay. So we're walking. We parked the car. As we're walking in, there's a guy with no shirt, torn cargo pants, with a sweater like over his forehead like that, draped down his back like it's a cape, dragging a shovel, just in the gravel, whistling. No, Evolve is as scary, but it wasn't. It was not Evolve. God. It was smaller scale, which meant you could do weirder drugs. is essentially what that means.
Oh my God.
So as soon as we saw a shovel guy, I was like, this is going to be a wild night.
Oh my
So
God.
we just walk in and we set up our tent, and then my buddy who offered us to be on the show was like, hey, I just got this super awesome shatter. Would you like some? And I was like, I don't smoke shatter normally. I'm like a buds only kind of guy.
Is the shatter the crystal stuff in the weed?
No. So that's crystal, and that I fuck with. I love that.
Okay.
It's fun and it's sparkly, and I like it. Shatter is they refine the weed using like isopropyl alcohol and like other things, ethanol, I think, and then it makes it super concentrated into like this. It looks like honey almost, but sometimes it's like brown or sometimes it's yellower. But it's like the consistency of like honey. It's like super sticky.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit will get you fucked.
Oh shit.
And like I don't like losing control because I'm always losing control. So I'm just like, this is gonna be. I was like, I don't do any hard drugs. Like I'll do mushrooms because it makes me forget that I'm me, and that's cool for like 8 hours. But other than that, there's like, no, it's good. Man, doing mushrooms and being a whole different person for 8 hours is refreshing.
I would have never have wanted to do mushrooms up until this quarantine. The quarantine and the depression that I went through during the past like 4 months has made me want to do them.
Yeah, I got through like 2 really, really hard times of my life by doing mushrooms around 2 people that I love a lot.
Yeah, you got to do it in the right circumstance. You got to do it with people you trust.
People who do mushrooms and go to dualies to play pool freak me out. Like, if you're just going to a dive bar where it's already scary when you're on a substance that just makes being alive scarier.
Yeah.
You're a psychopath.
Yeah, that's
like,
weird.
You shouldn't be trusted. I don't
Weird.
trust people who go to dive bars on mushrooms.
It's a great quote.
But, like, so I don't do shatter per se. It makes my ears feel like I was in a plane as well. I get all congested and stuff.
I hate that feeling.
Right? So I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll try some shatter. Because going back to the initial thing, I always have to do everything that everybody asks because I'm scared they won't like me.
Right. Validation. Doing things for validation.
I'll do literally any. You ask me to truffle shuffle online right now, I will. Please don't ask me to do that.
What's a truffle shuffle?
Oh, no. You've never seen the Goonies?
A long time ago. I don't remember it that much.
Oh, it's the most iconic scene in the Goonies, except for "Hey, you guys."
Hey, I don't know that.
So the Truffle Shuffle is one of the characters. He's a plump little man, and his friends think it's hilarious for him to truffle shuffle and ask for him to do it on command. And he reluctantly pulls his shirt up and just jiggles his tummy. And it just bounces back and forth.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh man, I've done that so many times. At parties, just losing at beer pong, start truffle shuffling, throw your opponent off. It's amazing.
I feel like Scott McLean
would ask me to truffle shuffle. Probably.
He probably does it a lot. One of his new jokes now is showing his stomach. So.
Does he have a big stomach?
Oh yeah.
Nice, good for you, man. You get a pretty girlfriend, you can grow up with a big stomach. It's just the rules. Fuck yeah.
To be a man.
It's just who it is. It's fucked up though, because to have a big belly, you have to somehow have a still decent face, but no titties. You can look like the Michelin Man on the lower half, but flat. Because as soon as you get titties, people look at you like, what the fuck is happening?
You're probably right about that.
Man,
I've been pretty hard on men in terms of like how
titty size.
Well, just in terms of
Sarah.
I always see these hot babes with these guys that like aren't that hot.
That's a fucking okay. I was just having this conversation with my buddy. It blows my mind. It's like bizarro land in Halifax because there's plenty of handsome guys here. Plenty. But for some reason, all of them are single, and all of these gorgeous girls hang on to 3s and 4s.
Yeah. I think
They have more pairs of shoes than he has points of hot.
I feel like women, and I get I get shit for this all the time, but I truly think women care less about looks than men do in terms of.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you think girls, I don't want this question to come off as arrogant. Do you think girls care more about how other girls look than their partner?
I mean,
because yeah, for sure, like you were gonna say that they don't care as much about their partner.
In terms, yeah, definitely in terms of yourself, I think it's hard on women because we're just constantly compared to each other.
Yeah, you guys are competing all the time.
Yeah, and so that is definitely something. There's something to that. But in terms of attraction, and I've talked with this with so many girlfriends about attraction, how it's very, for me anyways, like there's certain personality things that trump looks.
That can trump looks?
Yeah, like if you like,
you'll still date a handsome dude with a great hairline. If he's a dummy.
I'm also physically like all the guys that I've been attracted to, I find physically attractive as well.
Cool.
But some of my friends will look at them and go, "You can do better than that." Like, really? Like, you can do better.
It's a fear of mine that I'm the boyfriend that the friends go, "You can do better," because like I agree, but I don't need them to say it because like.
Oh my god. But that's the thing. But that's the thing about attraction, and that's why I have a rule with myself where I will never put down who someone else is attracted to. Yeah. If a friend of mine is attracted to somebody, that is a personal thing. There are reasons behind that, and I don't fucking judge. You know, I don't fucking judge, but I've had friends be like, "You could do better," or like, "Really? He's not that," and I'm just like,
are those the same friends that like you order a steak and they're like, "You can add a salad"? Some people just suck and give you opinions that they shouldn't share for some fucking reason.
That's right.
And they're also those people.
Yeah, attraction is just very complicated. Yeah, it's a very complicated thing.
It's a weird, like, fucking. There's a pheromone thing too, as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, I don't understand why I'm attracted to this person, and you're just like, there's something about them that makes me want to be around them. And I'm like a weird.
It's very, very, very weird.
Just like, and it happens all the time. Like, have you ever just like stood at a bus stop with someone and just felt comfortable?
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird thing, but that's our bodies just being like, you're cool.
We are fucking just like animals wanting to breed.
Well, we are animals.
Yeah.
That's something that people forget.
Well, it is easy to forget, though. Like,
why? Because we got thumbs and big brains?
Yeah, exactly. Like, at the base of it, we all want to fucking reproduce. It's fucked.
Yeah. We have to eat, sleep, drink, and fuck.
That's
breathe
right.
as well. But as humans, it's kind of just our only purpose. And then we built toys to entertain ourselves between those things because there was a lot of time. I could have fucking laid under a tree and just watched the stars. Like, I would have been cool with that. Now I got to play poker with a guy in Taiwan at 4 a.m. on my phone for some reason. Like,
it's crazy. But back to the shatter.
Oh, yes.
We diverged, but I love that about it.
So it's next level. It's essentially you're allergic to bees, and this honey is going to make your brain swell. It's essentially what it is. Some people love it. And I don't understand those people, but you get very, very stoned. Anyway.
Body high?
Everything. Your whole body you turn into a puddle. You turn into the viscosity of the shatter.
Oh, God.
Depending on what it's like. If it's runny, you'll be runny. Oh, that's so gross. You smoke it and you poop. No.
I don't need it.
No, same. I get thinner, though. If that was the thing, if I would just poop and get thinner from shatter, I would take the brain damage.
Oh, my God.
I don't even care.
Oh, my God.
So, anyway, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try it. And then he gave me a big one. And then as I was taking it, as it was coming into my lungs, he was just like, oh, by the way, this one is, like, super strong. And I'm like, oh, no, shit. So I take it, and then I open a bottle of water, and I slam back a bottle of water, and he packs the second one, and he goes, hey, take this. So I take it, and then he did that to me 4 times.
He gave you more?
Yeah. So he gave me a puff, would take one quick, give me another one, and he just smokes a fuckload of weed. So it wasn't like a malicious thing. He may have sabotaged me, but I love him. I like to think that it wasn't malicious. We were just shooting the shit and having a great time. And he's a large guy who smokes a fuckload, so I feel like he was just like, he'll keep up.
Right.
But I don't smoke shatter, so after the first one, I was probably higher than he was on his fourth.
Oh my god.
So we did 4, and I just forgot. Like, I was just standing there, and he was talking to me, and he was going through me, and I was like, I gotta do comedy soon. And he goes, oh, I talked to the guy who organized this, and we can only go on at 1 a.m. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, so we have a couple hours to just kill. And I was like, well, that's good because I feel like I'm gonna die. So I'm gonna go take a little power nap. So I crawl into my tent somehow. I find it. I might have been in somebody else's tent. I don't even know. And I'm sleeping, and then time comes by, and I just remember like coming in and out of consciousness because Evan's like, and my eyes are opening, and I'm seeing like a Sasquatch blurry figure because he's huge. Like, he's gonna be out of your camera when he's here. Don't aim it up. It'll be so funnier if you just see. Imagine a whole podcast like this, and then you have to talk to the guy, and he's like, "And this time."
Was he high too? Was Steve's high?
Yeah, and not at that point.
Okay. Oh my god.
So he's trying to wake me up, and he's like, "We're going on in 20 minutes. Get up." And he took off, and he came back, and he goes, "We're going on in 15 minutes. Come on." And every time he'd come, I would just like immediately drift back because I was still high as fuck. So finally, he grabbed me and picked me up, and I'm a heavy dude. I'm dense, but he just picked me up, and he stood me up, and he goes, "We have 5 minutes. Fucking get your composure and get out here." And I'm like, in that moment, I realized this is my best friend. This is a person. This is a dude who is going to look out for me and make sure that I don't self-sabotage, because God knows I like doing that.
Yeah.
And make sure that I get shit done. I was like, I fucking love this dude. So he brings me to the stage, but in the moment, like we said earlier about being different people during different times of the day, this was now my morning because I just woken up. So I was grumpy. I was grumpy. And he just grabs me once more. We're standing beside the stage, and he just shakes me. And he goes, "Wake the fuck up and make people laugh." Oh, wow. And I go, "Okay." And then I walk up to the stage, and the guy who asked us to show up shows up and goes, "Hey, we have an hour because this DJ's going long."
Shut the fuck up.
So the whole world just goes like, boom. And I'm like,
oh god,
oh fuck me. But now I have an hour to wake up and like in a better mood because Evan was like making me giggle and stuff. And I was like, all right, this is gonna be fucking stuff.
Yeah. Oh god.
Guy goes up, does comedy, brings me up. I introduce myself. I deliver my first joke. At the end of my first joke, I don't hear a single laugh. All I hear is, and then a laugh. Somebody packed themselves a whippet like they're Steve-O 2002, inhaled the balloon, and started to laugh.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh no, it's 2 a.m. Everybody hears a zombie.
Yeah.
Everyone is beyond high. They don't even realize what's going on. And I like talked to people after. They were like, I didn't notice there was somebody on stage, man. Sorry. And I'm like, what? They were like, I'd love to hear your jokes. And I'm like, too late now. I'm going back to the 10.
The worst time. Like, I mean, I think that's worse than doing it in the afternoon. Like, that's the worst time.
Do you know how much it throws you off to be in the middle of a joke where it's not funny, you know it's not funny, and hear people laugh and then deliver your punchlines to laughs that you didn't deserve?
You didn't, and laughs that are just because they're high as fuck. High.
So yeah, comedy at 2 a.m, probably not the best time.
Was this like, this was outside?
Yeah, it was an outdoor festival. The stage was super cool though. Whoever built it was the Jesus of carpentry of EDM stages, because the stage was huge and they had cut it so that it looked like it was melting. It was a big wooden stage, and they like cut parts of it and then spray painted it so that it looked like it was melting. I was sober. Well, I was on a bunch of shatter, but like, hallucinate. And I'm looking at this thing like, is this stage fucking melting? And they put like lights inside of the stage. And I was like, this is gorgeous. And it's just on some old dude's farm, like in the middle of the woods in Wolfville.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was super cool. At one point, we found like this hammock that was like the size of your living room. It was attached between trees. And I went in and I laid there. And then Evan went and laid there. And then a friend of mine came in. She laid in there with us. And we're just talking.
That would be fun.
It was so much fun. And then we were just talking and just like looking at the stars and just being goofy because the show was done now. And we get to have fun. And Evan downed a bottle of fucking whiskey and then did a bunch of mushrooms.
Oh my god.
He's being outer worldly. So we're having a great time. And then just throughout the next like hour, 20 people showed up. Just like one
in
at
the
a
hammock?
time. And just would crawl in and come. And it just grew from like the three of us having to be stuck together because we were inside of a giant hammock to just a giant net cuddle puddle
it's like a
of strangers.
Yeah.
And it sounds gross and it sounds weird, but goddamn, you feel comfortable in have you ever seen snake nests?
No.
Oh, dude. Are you ready to get uncomfortable?
A snake nest?
Oh, yeah. Snake pit, it's called.
Well, I'll
go on
look it
YouTube
up.
and check out a snake pit. You wrote snack net.
Wait, okay, so we're actually...
That's how you should describe yourself. I'm a snack net.
We're going to put this in the podcast.
Let's do it.
Let's react to it now. So, what am I looking at?
Snake. Like a snake. That's snack again. Space pit. Yeah, I was in a net, but we're looking for a pit.
I clearly want snacks. Keep running snacks.
Right? I wish I would have brought you some. I'm sorry. I should have
Oh,
asked
no,
if
it's
you
okay.
needed something before I came.
I had Chinese food before you came.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Also had kind of.
Would it be this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's look at that.
It's exactly what you think.
People come from all over the world just to see the snake dens here.
I don't know why you have to go all over the world because they're literally everywhere. You can walk around in Buktush, New Brunswick and find these.
Yeah,
that's what you feel like in a hammock with 40 strangers high as fuck on mushrooms. That's what you feel like. But it's so goddamn comforting. Do you not like snakes?
You know,
I because they're a little unpredictable.
Don't hate them. You know how like some people just like hate them? I don't like bugs though.
I'm doing a
You
terrible.
don't like bugs?
Spiders.
So you'd like this least if it was
centipedes.
cockroaches? I don't think centipedes behave this way.
Okay,
a snake. I'm just realizing this, but a snake pit is what I imagine a dude's inside of his ball sack would look like under a microscope.
Yeah, really though.
That's what our sperms probably do when we're not doing anything.
They're just like all hanging out.
Just poking out, just being like, "Sup, guys?"
Oh, that's wild.
Oh yeah, this thing is super gross. Fast forward so you can actually see like there must be like a portion of it. Yeah, right here.
Piece of spaghetti.
I hate that this dad is just talking about these snakes. I wanted to show you like only audio of the snakes video, but that's 100% what you feel like.
Slightly bigger.
That's crazy.
I love snakes. They're so fucking cool. They got so much done and they don't even have thumbs. We're supposed to be so cool because we have thumbs and
they are really fucking cool. I frequent the Nature is Metal subreddit.
It's a good rubber, right?
Subreddit. And I've seen some shit on there with snakes. Like there was a bird that caught a snake recently and was like destroying it. Like
birds gotta eat.
And like the snake was still alive though, and it was brutal to watch.
We're the only creature that has the compassion to kill before we eat them. So when PETA's like, "How do you think they feel?" They don't feel, they're dead because we're not like other animals.
Kimono dragons?
Oh, just and swallow you whole. They'll swallow your child. They'll eat your kid.
Well, they
don't give a fuck.
They eat other animals alive. Like other animals, so they poison their prey so that their prey are just demobilized, and they will eat them alive.
I've had girlfriends like that. Yeah, no, they're crazy. But the thing is with the Komodo dragon, if he eats only vegetation, it dies. So it has to eat other animals.
Right. So they're just fucking... Like, they're just always on the hunt for meat.
Think about this. Imagine you had to kill your meal before you eat it, right? If you go and you poison it and you leave it there and you wait for it to die to be humane about it, I'm going to walk up, I'm another Komodo dragon,
exactly.
and I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have morals because we're Komodo dragons.
Yeah.
Being human is dope. But essentially, yeah, so they just kind of like, there's so many animals who just eat other animals. Like when I was growing up, I'm from like a woodsy part of New Brunswick. So I was like always out hunting and stuff with my dad and my uncles and all that stuff. And that's kind of all my whole family does. And I watched a bear eat a deer once.
Oh God.
It was just super weird and like super messed up. But I was like, in the moment that I realized like he'd do that to me.
Yeah.
Like this isn't something that he would not give a shit. I'm just an antlerless deer to him.
Bears are fucked too.
Yeah, they're insane.
That's
what I mean.
Chimpanzees will kill you.
We don't have those here. Fuck.
Yeah, and it's weird because I thought about the other day. I'm like, I'm talking about things that are fucked up about us. I have like a overwhelming fear of death. Like I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm thinking about how it's gonna happen to me. It's just constantly like, I'm not living life to my fullest. I'm not doing what I want.
You're not living your life to the fullest because you're afraid that it'll kill you? Or do you think that it's killing you to not do the things that you want?
Who knows? It could be that. It could be a vicious cycle. You're right. You're probably right.
Call me naive, but the scientific principles just says try one.
Yeah.
Please don't hurt yourself. That's not what I'm. Try the other one.
Try living.
Yeah, do the things that you want to do, and
but I'm constantly thinking about what is death, what happens, like constantly thinking about it, and I often wonder,
like, spiritual at all?
I mean, I don't.
Other than believing that you're a Pisces, that's. I mean, like, do you believe like after? Do you believe like after death kind of spiritual?
I very much so don't want to believe that there's nothing. So I've always said that I'm agnostic because I don't know what's if there's an afterlife or what goes on afterwards, but I do believe in something greater than us. Like I do believe in that.
What's greater than us? Like a being?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
We're essentially just like loaves of bread that happened by accident. Essentially, right? So like, I'm not dismissing anything that you believe. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I mean, like the way that we showed up here, all of the things that we have inside of us can be found within the universe. You just take a rocket ship and you fly out and you'll find literally everything that you need to make a person. Every element.
Yeah.
Just in space, everywhere. Planets have them, stars have them, literally everything.
Yeah,
you have carbon everywhere. You have oxygen everywhere. You have, what's the other ones that we have? Carbon, oxygen. Grade 12 chemistry teacher would cut me in the dick right now. I can't remember what the other ones are. But essentially, all of the elements, there's like 7 main elements that we are made up of, can be found literally 90% of the universe that we can see. And there's infinite more universe than that, but we can only assume that it can also be found there.
Yeah.
Right? Essentially, by having the perfect smack of elements over and over and over again, there was single-celled life forms.
Right.
And then they swam around in the water and just ate things and then got bigger and smarter, right? And then we eventually... I'm explaining evolution right now like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But essentially, it got us here. So it's all just super fucking lucky. We're just insanely lucky that this happened.
That's right. I think what I think about all the time is just how can a person like you and I feel like you and I are similar in that there's a lot going on up here. There's a lot of emotions, thoughts, insecurities, like weird things. Like we're constantly, like, I don't know about you, but my mind, it never shuts down.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it might shut down right before I fall asleep, but that's about it.
And one day forever.
I'm so sorry. That should be the thumbnail. But that's what is mind-boggling to me. Like when somebody dies, where does all that go? Where do those memories go?
Weirdly, in a box underground so that we can't deteriorate, which coffins are stupid.
Yeah.
And if they were to just throw you into the ground, you'd turn into a plant or a tree, and then you would just ooze out saps, and then animals would eat you, and then your information would then be transferred to them to then feed their young, and then it propagates throughout infinity like that. So all of your experiences aren't going to waste because it made you the being that you are to then feed the next generation of animals to then grow and then be able to repeat the cycle of life.
What if you get cremated?
That's cool. You still, when you cremate someone, you essentially just turn them to ashes, and as long as you bring those back to the earth, I feel like you lose a lot of the nutrients by burning them. The carbon, as it burns, it goes into the sky, and I guess those elements make their way into the sky and come back down in rain form, and the rest are thrown into the grass.
Because I want to be turned into a firework. Just because
firework?
That's
a fucking incredible idea. What color would you be? Because different materials make different colors. What would Sarah
want to be like multicolored, I think.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's an expensive wish, but that is my wish in my will. I don't know if I have a will. Do you have a will?
Me, yes.
You do?
Yeah. Nobody expects me to live. I'm sorry. Okay. Can I tell you something?
What do you mean? No one expects you to live.
I had the weirdest realization like last week. I'm 29 years old. I was talking to my dad on the phone. And he was just like, "Oh, I have an appointment." I was like, "Hey, can I come see you?" And he was like, "Oh, I can't. I have an appointment." And I was like, "Okay, can I come with you?" And because my dad was sick a little while ago, and I was like, "If he's sick, fuck you for not trying to tell me. I'm your son. I deserve to know." So I was like, "Can I come with you?" And he's like, "No, it's not important." And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm just canceling life insurance." And I was like, what the fuck is my dad going to do? And I was like, why would you? You're old. You're an old man during COVID. Why are you canceling your life insurance? And he goes, I'm not canceling my life insurance. I'm canceling yours.
What?
And I went, what? Exactly. And he was like, yeah, it's not like we were kind of scared when you were going to school that something would happen. So we put a life insurance on you in case anything were to happen. And I feel comfortable enough now that I can cancel it. I don't have to keep paying into it. And I go, what? And he goes, I didn't want to fucking tell you this. And I was like, you just didn't expect me to make it? like I'm a weird three-legged dog. And
what was it just? What was it about like your younger years that made them worried?
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Okay. Where to start?
I can't. I can't.
My parents are dope. They're super cool, but they're both from very small towns that never left. Well, my dad traveled a whole bunch, but my dad's military and then a police officer.
Right.
Which is a weird time to be saying that in the world. And then my mom is amazing. I love her to death, but she's just
Did she work?
Sweet little French lady. Sometimes. My grandmother, I had both grandmothers living with me growing up, but never like both at the same time. It's just they both needed it at different times, so I always had a grandmother around, which is kind of why I got fat, because they were like, why are you sad all the time? And they would bake goods because French old ladies love to fucking cook.
The butter? So much
everything.
butter.
And everything. There's literally butter in everything. I'm pretty sure I'm 20% butter. As a French guy. That's why our hair's shiny. So yeah, they got me super fucking fat. But essentially they were just like, they're also very Catholic. And growing up, I had two older brothers who were cool and thin and into sports. And I was fat and playing video games with long hair.
Right.
And though immediately my parents were like, are you worshiping Satan?
Yeah, you were the black sheep. I was black sheep in my family too. Yeah.
I bought Anthony LaVey's Satanic Bible just so I could leave it on my bed.
Just to freak them out.
just for them to be like, what the fuck? Yeah, like I let my dad think that I was gay for like 5 years just because I was like, I'm going to let you believe it until you're not uncomfortable with it anymore.
Oh my God.
And then eventually I was like, oh, I'm dating a lady. And he's like, what? And I was like, turns out they just didn't want to date me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't gay. Yeah.
But I let him believe it. I never corrected him. He'd tell his friends sometimes like it was a weird award. And I was like, sure. As long if this is what it's gonna take to not make you be weird about it. And now he's cool. Now he's completely fine with that shit. So somehow it worked. Which is super, I guess, cha-ching.
Yes.
So yeah, my entire childhood they just thought I was super weird because I wasn't like anybody else and I didn't want to go to I got kicked out of I got like exiled from a church as a kid and like stuff like that kept happening for some weird reason.
Right, okay.
So my parents were like, oh my God, he's into bad things. And I only started smoking weed and like drinking when I was an adult. Like I drank very young a couple of times, but I did a bunch of stupid stuff and I was like, I don't want to do that anymore because a lot of my friends have already ruined their lives forever.
Yep.
That's a weird realization to have at like 15, right?
That's crazy. That's so young.
Yeah, it's like super. My small town, it has like a population of like $1,300, but like weird shit was happening to literally everyone. Like one kid in grade 9 was selling weed to all of the students and some of the teachers because his mom was sick and had cancer, and that's how he was funding like the groceries and stuff while she was sick. Oh my God. And like everybody knew it, and the teachers knew it, and nobody did anything about it because they were like, he's trying to help his mom. So like everybody just turned a blind eye to it, and like stuff like that was just happening to everybody.
Wow.
So like that's why I don't realize sometimes that things are weird.
Cause you grew up around such craziness.
Everything is weird.
Yes.
Like growing up, everything was weird, and like sometimes people are like, no, growing up I just read books, played tennis, and like hung out at home, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You never hung out in the pit? What are you talking about?
I kind of pity those people. It sounds kind of boring.
I mean, it's probably dope for them. I don't know what not having trauma is, but it could be cool. It could be cool. I feel like I don't know. I'd be bored, maybe, probably. What do you think about? Read a lot more books.
Yeah, I mean, shit like that, like early experiences like that really fucking stick with you throughout adult life. Yeah, I know people.
And that's why he put life insurance on me. Ultimately, that's just why he did it, and I understand, but it still kind of sucks. But keep going.
Crazy. Yeah, like
your thought.
I'm just trying to think. Like I had a very traumatic experience in like my first year of college when I was back home in Antigonish, where I had the cops called on me. Because I got over dramatic. I was fighting with my friends, and I said stupidly something about like, I'm gonna hurt myself tonight. Or, like I said something that made them think I was gonna do something.
Sure.
In the heat of the moment.
I'm sorry you went through that. That sucks.
And literally in this, and I think about it even now because of all the cop stuff happening, of like how they treated me when they showed up at that apartment, and how I was like literally put in the back of a cop car because I was going through some personal shit and I didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, and I still like, it's one of those things that like I still fucking think about. Like people say like high school and shit, oh, it's nothing, your life doesn't start until after. It's just like shit can still happen when you're young that impacts you in your adult life, and you as an adult like have to make that choice. Do I get therapy to deal with this, or like what do I do with this this shit that I've been through? If
you deal with bad shit as a teenager, it can stay with you. It's like, no, for sure, as a 20-year-old you shouldn't know what having your life threatened feels like.
Yeah,
but some people go through that, and to be like, oh, you are young, you're being an idiot.
Yeah,
let that person have that thing and help them work through it. If your thing, I don't know, I just tell people these things and try to make it, like, try to always put a spin on things of like, I don't really care. I realize that there's a lot of bad things that keep happening, but there's so many more good things. There's so many more good things in the world. And like, I love mangoes. Like, so one day you can just, if I'm feeling down, I'll just eat a mango. And I'm like, things are dope. Like, things are super cool.
Right.
And like,
yeah.
So if I don't allow myself to be upset with the things that happen to me, why should other people feel upset about the things that I went through, kind of stuff? And all you can talk about is what you know, and all I know is what I've gone through.
That's right.
So to be the most true to myself, I then have to tell my stories, be honest, but try to make people laugh with them.
That's right.
Make them realize, like, hey, it's not a bad thing. If you were put in that situation, you probably didn't like it. I maybe didn't like it in the time either. But now, something I deal with, it's a funny story, and let's have fun with it. I'm clearly not that hurt because I'm here. I'm telling you the story, so you know I'm cool.
You're able to tell them, because some people, when they're telling you something about something that happened, it's so clear that they don't have the intent that you have, that they're like, they're very angry and it's all very negative and it's very like me
because it's easy to have like surface level anger.
Yes,
right. If you're angry, it's because you don't give yourself time to think about things.
Yeah,
because it's the first, it's being angry, it comes from being an animal when you think that you're in danger.
Yeah,
but we live in the future now. Some people obviously are in danger. I'm coming from a privileged position as a dude, and being like, people aren't in danger. For sure, some people are in danger.
Absolutely.
Sometimes there's danger. There's crazy people doing awful things out there, for sure. But for the most part, it's relatively safe.
That's right.
So to let anger become your first feeling, your first emotion at things all the time, and then dwelling on that anger seems very
counterproductive.
Yes. and silly.
Yes.
You're using all of the energy that you could be using to try to fix your problems and to just be in heat. You're just losing that energy in heat because your face is red. Why? Fix it. Do something. Try to at least. You're going to be more upset at not trying to fix it than trying to fix it and fucking it up. Sometimes you try to fix something and fuck it up, and then the story's even better.
Right? Sometimes your intentions can be so good, and it backfires on you. And that's fucking hard.
And I've kind of like, weirdly enough, I've kind of always lived my life like this because everybody's favorite things about me was I always had fun stories. And from a super young age, it was when something was presented to me is this going to be a fun story?
Right.
Because that's how I was rewarded. I was the short, fat, ugly kid who had funny stories. He always got himself into shenanigans. And I was like, I was embracing the shenanigans. I'm like fuck yeah, we got to do this because I'm going to have a cool story.
Oh my God.
And that's kind of how, like, I don't know, you have to do that. And if you choose to have that life, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that they choose to be in the situation. A lot of people aren't choosing the situations they're in a lot, for sure. But some people just like to be angry and sit there and not fix anything. And you just keep being angry and you just keep like a cartoon smoke coming out of your eyes. And I think that's super bad. I was doing that for the first 27 years of my life.
Right.
Then I did a bunch of mushrooms one night and I realized that, hey, fucking spin that shit around.
I gotta do mushrooms because I've realized like that anger is so much more in me than I thought. Like this quarantine.
It's normal. Yeah, I'm not trying to shit on you.
But you're 100% right about dealing with it where it's like, what am I gonna do?
I'm a dumb.
But what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Just be angry my whole life and then get angry about not living my life, not being happy? Well, what do I gotta do to be like? It's just like you just gotta do things to try to make yourself be better. You know.
What's like one of the things you want to do? What's the things that you really want to do, and it's making you angry that you're not doing it, but there's something inside of you telling you not to do it. Stand-up comedy is coming soon, and that's fucking amazing. And think about like the little goals. Once you achieve doing stand-up comedy and going up there and facing your fear and realizing, holy shit, I'm funny. People like me. This is awesome. And then after that, what's your next thing on the list? What's the next thing you're gonna
honestly have to figure out what I'm doing for a career and work. Like it's because this quarantine, I think I was hit with so much at the start of it that I think I went into like some sort of weird shock where I was just like, okay, well, there's no work and I'm going to be out of work for a while. So I'm just going to sit in myself. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I kind of just didn't even think about the real world, like I have to find a job eventually. EI is going to run out. Like I can't just like,
you don't know what's going on. It's uncertainty because the whole world is on pause. The whole world, well, not on pause, but like you're not allowed to be who you were.
Exactly. Every single routine that I had beforehand was out the window. Everything was weird. I wasn't seeing friends. Like
that person who thrives on not having a routine. That's the only good thing about quarantine right now. I'm watching people being like, I can't do any of my things. And they're freaking out. And I'm like, you could just literally do any of those things, just not in the order that you normally do them. That's sorry for the inconvenience.
Right. But you're right. And like, why didn't I just like make it a routine to get up at the same time that I used to get up and job hunt? I don't know. I think.
Well, any day you could start.
Yes.
Any day.
I think a lot of it was this weird, like, I was so depleted of like dopamine and serotonin that I would throw myself into things that just gave me that instant hit, like podcast stuff. Oh, it makes me so happy. It's so much fun. I get to see friends. Oh, dopamine. Oh, but job hunting doesn't do that to me. So I avoid it. I'm in this weird survival mode of like, I just want to have happy feelings.
What do you like doing what do you like doing on your computer? What's your favorite thing? Do like editing and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, what about this? Give yourself. I'm not telling you how to live your life. This is just
I love
trying
this.
to have fun right
now.
I
love this. Life coach me.
What if you were to be like, hey, you wake up in the morning and you're like, I have like 3 videos that I could do today. Like that's something that I want to do. I want to accomplish that. What if between each video you have to apply for one job?
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
That's the only way you're allowed to get to start the next thing that you like to do. You just got to do this little thing. It's literally copy and paste.
Use it as an incentive to like take a break. Like I should job hunt for 2 hours and then I can have a break and work on.
2 hours is a long time.
1 hour.
Yeah. 2 hours.
What I'm saying, Brian, is I gotta get my shit together because
no, I shouldn't be the person to tell you to get your shit together. My shit is not together at all.
Yeah, it's just been rough, and now that things are like reopening again, it's like reality's coming back, where it's like I really got to figure shit out. But I think one thing a lot of people do, and I talked about it in my 2 episodes ago with my friend Finley, which is like when you have a lot of issues. A lot of times people try to solve everything where you just got to focus on like one thing at a time. Yeah. Which
you
is
can't
like,
build a phone without understanding each part of it.
So right now it's get through this first set and find a fucking job.
Yeah. That's a fucking thing. Okay. Now that you have that planted in your head, because that's been there you've had your first set on the line for like a week now, and you realize already that you need a new job. How long have you known this? A week maybe? Have you felt marginally happier during the last week than you did for the last 4 months?
Yeah. Knowing
success.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, things are definitely getting better.
That's
things
good.
are definitely getting better.
I'm super happy for you.
But it is still hard. It's the motivation thing. I'm just not good with I actually I'm not so much like you. Like I like having a little bit of structure and routine because it's forces me. It gives me a sense of purpose when I wake up. Whereas if I wake up to a blank day where like I just have the whole day, I'll be like, okay, well I know how to do these things, but I also have to clean. I also like I'll just look around my apartment and find other things to do, and then I get sidetracked.
I have insane ADD.
Oh,
so this is how all of that works for me. I'll be like, this Pop Smoke album just came out. I'm gonna listen to this, and I'm on track 3, and I'm cleaning somehow, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So then I'm mopping, and then I get to track 7, and now I'm just dancing. And now I'm just fucking dancing. But then breakfast is being made, and I'm like, fucking sick. And then that finishes, and I'm like, oh, there's a new podcast that I like. Fuck yeah, put that on play, carrying an iPad like I'm a weird tourist, and then just like walking around my house, and then shit. That's kind of how you get things done. As long as you keep rewarding yourself with things that you like, you can tolerate doing the things that you don't.
That's right. And with ADD, I've been learning a lot about ADD recently, actually.
It's a blessing and a curse.
I'm truly convinced that I have it too, because they talk about hyperfocus, which is like...
You can just go see a doctor and you can tell you.
You can't focus on one thing for a long time, but when you find something that gives you that serotonin, like say a video game where you're like getting like ding ding points, ding ding.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, you just get a bunch of turnips.
That's right. You can
haven't even
focus on
played
that.
the game, just nailing references.
That's right. But like people who play video games can play them for hours on end because they get those instant little hits. Whereas, like, if you're ADD, sometimes you just can't focus because those things aren't giving you the hits.
They make those games for the people with ADD.
They really do.
I promise you. It's so fucking satisfying sometimes when a game is just, like, crazy sporadic and you don't know what's going on. And it's like, this is a puzzle.
Right.
Do you like puzzles? Maybe. I also get excited when things break. And I'm like, ooh, I get to fix this now. So, like, I don't know. Maybe don't live as I live.
Oh,
it's
man.
stupid. But, yeah, I don't know. I think one time I did... One time.
Here we go!
I don't even have to fucking explain that. One time I just like sat there and like in the dark, dwelling on myself, just like trying to be like, what's going on, right? Not in like a sad like fetal position, but just like, what the fuck's going on? And because I wasn't getting anything done and my house was cluttered and my room was cluttered and like I was in school, but there was also like a bunch of other things going on and I kept getting myself into trouble and like not trouble, like I've been fortunate to like avoid the law constantly. Like nothing like that.
Right.
But it's just like, I don't know, situations that are unpleasant.
Yes.
For me.
Yes.
As a people pleaser, because people are like, do this thing, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I have to do them. So that's just kind of like a series of...
Have you ever looked into codependency? Like being a codependent? Because that sounds like what you are. A lot of it is people pleasing.
Maybe.
A lot of it is people pleasing and finding you find your validation and making other people happy.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well,
check out Codependent No More. It's a book that I'm reading right now.
Codependency was just like one-on-one. Just like, I can't live without this person, which is my cat.
It could be. Like, it ties into that. Like, codependency ties into love addiction, which I have, which is
what does that mean?
You're addicted to the constant pursuit of romantic love. Saddest thing ever. Saddest thing ever. You're addicted to the constant pursuit of romantic love.
So do you lose interest in people? Is that what happens? Like the pursuit is no longer there. If they stick around for too long, you're like, meh, and then you become disinterested?
I don't find that to be the case with me. For me, it's I usually always have to like somebody, and if I don't like somebody, I'm like,
who's my next person to like?
Yeah, it's really fucked.
Don't you have a cat?
Yeah. Well, Brian, there's a lot of things the cat can't do for me.
That's fair. That's why we have the internet.
That's right.
You do a lot of weird things.
But yeah, no, like being a people pleaser, like we share that for sure because I'm the same.
It's important. It's a weird thing, but it's kind of also a skill. We can apply it to a lot of jobs.
Customer service.
Like that. Exactly, right? We can get shit on a lot and just be like, oh, I'll deal with that later. Like trauma. And then you kind of like take it to the face. And then you go home and you dwell on it later. But I don't know. It's kind of I don't think it has to be a bad thing.
I would agree. I think it's just about learning how to manage it. Yeah, you just have to learn how to manage it to make it work for you.
Oh, that's dope. I think, yeah, I guess. I'm gonna have to look into this thing now. I'm sitting here still. I'm just like, oh no.
Well, just Google like what is it to be a codependent? Because it's.
Can you edit like math equations on the screen as I'm having that?
Yeah, you're the woman, that math woman, and the math woman meme. Where it's like she's like thinking.
That's or the movie A Beautiful Mind. She's like going in front of him on glass, and she's like, oh, okay, this guy's scary.
That's right. What's it like to like meet someone that you're dating? And to kind of, because a lot of people say things like you don't unload all your crazy right away.
I do. That's the thing. Like going back to that from earlier, everything seems to be weird. And I'm scared that it becomes a surprise, because it sometimes has happened where, like, if I meet someone, this is where it's a problem. If I meet somebody and we share like a bunch of the same interests, so we don't actually talk about ourselves, but we talk about the interests instead, is a very detrimental thing. Because once we already like each other, because oh my god, we like all the same things. This is so interesting, and like we get to cuddle and like listen to this fucking audiobook together because we both really like superheroes or whatever the fuck it is. Like all those things become super interesting, and then you start learning about each other, and you're like, oh no,
learning about like personality stuff, right?
Yeah, and then I'm just sitting there like, you don't like these kinds of people. What are you saying?
Right.
And then she's like, oh my god, you've gone through that, and then if you have to deal with that kind of like. You've gone, like, whenever I tell somebody a story and they go, I can't believe you've lived through that, I go, oh, there's a dozen worse. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't believe that. Have you never read a book? Have you never read an article? Like, weird things happen, dude. If you just get to live in that little happy bubble, good for you, I guess.
Right.
But, like, if somebody's, like, blown away, oh, my God, I can't believe that happened. I'm like, can't share any more stories with you.
Yeah. Like attracts like. Like, do you find that you're drawn to people that also have gone through crazy shit?
For the most part, it's varied. It's very varied, I guess. For me, I like learning things. Mm-hmm. So it's this. Now that you're making me reflect on this, I'm seeing a pattern, which is scary.
Did I therapy Bryan Otter? I therapied you. That'll be $150. I'll charge you at the end of the night.
Actually, this should be sponsored by Ingblot.com.
It really should.
$34.99.
I'm gonna look into that, honestly. If the things are 30 to 40, like that's
I suggest it for anyone.
Affordable.
It's very helpful. It's very good. I think everybody could benefit from going to therapy, even if you don't think that you have things going on. You might. Yeah. Because I thought it was normal for a really, really long time. But I don't know. I think everybody could benefit from it, I guess. But I've always liked learning about a lot of things, and I like to know how a lot of different things work.
Yeah.
One, because I like knowing how a lot of things work. Mm-hmm. But two, I like being able to talk about people who like those things.
Yes.
So if somebody comes up to me and is super excited about a topic that I know a lot about, I immediately get passionate because I'm like, we get to talk about this nerdy shit. We get to nerd out for a sec. And this is like a weird dopamine thing that we have. So kind of all of my partners throughout my life has always been very different from the last person, because they're always people that kind of draw me in by going like, I do this really cool thing. You want to learn about this really cool thing?
Interesting.
And I'm like, oh, and that's how I got into, that's how I get into like all of my weird situations because I kind of dive into situations feet first. So I meet these people go, I do this, and I go, that's amazing. And they go, here's a crash course, and I go, that's amazing. And they go, okay, do this thing, and I go, this sucks. Like, I cannot deliver. What? And then you have to do it, and sometimes you fail, and that sucks. But even if you fail, you tried it at least, and that's super fucking cool. So kind of everyone, I've dated all sorts of people like me, but I've also dated a bunch of people who are like the complete opposite of me, because those are the people who can teach me the most.
Right.
And I know that I'm exhausting, so I need somebody who's cool to accept that.
That makes my heart hurt that you think you're exhausting.
Oh, I get it. For anyone who's ever been with me before, if any of them happen to see this, which I doubt because they don't give a fuck about me, but if they ever see them, they'll be like,
I've felt the same way too, but I've also just felt like misunderstood with everybody.
That's 100% what it is. Well, we're fucking complex creatures. Going back to we're not Komodo dragons. We have a lot of shit going on. We're Komodo dragons with phones and cars and weird complex social interactions because we're smart enough to be able to to make this thing. You have to be able to outwit me or else you're not good anymore, because people don't punch each other in the mouth.
Yeah.
Essentially, when we were cavemen, you would just beat each other with clubs. And whoever could walk away wins that conversation.
Can you imagine if life was still like that?
I would hate it. I would lose daily. I'd be like, there's no cream in my latte. And she would beat me over the head, and I'd be like, I get it. I wouldn't like to live.
I don't know. I see some people that have just had such simple lives, and they find someone with a simple life, and it's easy, and they meet, and they stay together, and then I'm just like, why? Like, this is my thing, and I know I'm a fucking broken record, but I'm always just like, why is it so hard for some people to find connection versus others? Because that is the main pain point in my life, which is like, I just truly feel like I don't have that connection with anybody. I feel like I can...
Like a romantic connection?
Yeah, like I can connect with people because I do feel like I am a connector. But in terms of people connecting to me, like having that day-to-day, everyday connection, like intimate connection, I don't have that.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? So to be able to be connected to someone, you feel like you have to be in constant contact and constantly feel sparkles?
Not constant
like,
contact.
Butterflies?
But regular contact, regular closeness, and also just like me being able to explain a situation, and for them to just go, oh yeah, and get why I did the thing I did.
Okay, cool.
Which is a lot of people I feel question why.
But do you feel like you do weird things?
Yeah.
So why do you expect people to? Why do you expect people to be like, oh yeah? If you recognize that you do weird things, you should thrive when somebody's like, what? And then understanding you from there. You're showing them a quirk, and then from that moment, they now know that about you. It's now a new thing that they know.
But have you ever just not wanted to explain yourself?
All the time.
I think that's what I'm getting at.
You want to be able to talk to somebody but not have to explain yourself.
Maybe. Now I'm starting to have realizations.
This is what podcasts are for.
Therapy podcast. I guess there will always be some element.
Is this what Intoxicated is supposed to be? I'm sorry, listeners.
No, this 100% is what it's supposed to be.
God. Okay, cool.
I think, that's interesting. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think it's, maybe I take, when people question me, maybe I take that as an offense or I don't know. Don't understand. But maybe I should start thinking of it a different way.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little further for me, please?
I'm trying to think of an example.
So, if somebody doesn't understand you, think of that as an attack?
No. It's so hard to explain how I feel about this.
So it's
kind of I'm trying to think of a situation I can use as an example.
So is it situation happens, you express yourself. Mm-hmm. The person then goes, I wonder why that's how she took that. Mm-hmm. And then you go, why didn't you understand how I took that?
Yes. I think it's just I've always felt misunderstood. And so at the slightest hint of feeling misunderstood, I go into defense mode.
But why? We're all misunderstanding each other constantly, all day, every day, for the dawn of time. That's what people do.
I know.
We're complex fucking creatures. We're not giraffes. We can't just pop out of our mom's land, crawl up, and then run away, and then know how to behave with each other. We're not allowed to do that. That's not a thing that we as people can do. We got big heads. We come out with our brains are like 30% of the size they're going to be when we're born, and they keep getting bigger. So that's why we have to be like carried and breastfed till we're 18. My mom did not breastfeed me till 18.
I was like, what?
But, no.
Right.
But like figuratively, I mean, like people now stay at home with their parents till they're like 30.
Yeah, that's right.
And, I mean, if you're doing it for your parents, that's super cool. But if you're doing it for yourself, that's strange for me, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
And kind of thing, because like, I don't know. If you're in a situation where that's all you can do in that moment, I completely get that. I'm not shitting on you, but
yeah, I
try to help yourself.
I think
I've lived in my car 3 times instead of living with my parents.
I would hate that. I would not be able to.
Living in the car or your parents?
Either one.
Oh, fair. Yeah, the car's not luxurious, but it doesn't talk back.
That's right. There's no one. That's a terrifying thought. Your car talking back to you.
Right, Knight Rider style. Otter, wake up. It's time to go to work. And I'm like, shut up, Mazda 3. What are you talking about?
That's really scary.
Starts playing country music when like groups of young cool kids walk by just so they think I'm a loser. And I'm like, car, why now?
How dare you?
You piece of shit. Got you.
When did you start having like the body image? Like what was the root?
When I grew my first tit.
One grew before the other?
Oh, for sure. Isn't that how it works for everybody? Oh my
I
god.
don't even remember. Like, I just remember like woke up one day and had boobs. Like, I feel like they just happened.
Actually, kind of same, but for me, it was fucked up. My grandma was always like, yo, sorry that your dad doesn't talk to you. Here's a fucking apple pie.
Food,
and I'm like, nah. So then I was a super small kid. Like, I remember being like 5 and 6 and being able to like sneak into crevices and stuff, and like behind the fridge, not behind the fridge, the washing machine and stuff, which I don't know what I was doing hanging out there. But I remember that. And then I got really fat out of nowhere. It's like summer showed up, which I should have been out running, and I wasn't doing somehow, I guess. And then I got back to school, and now I couldn't fit in lockers anymore, which was kind of beneficial. So that was a new tool that I had in my toolbox. So nobody put me in lockers anymore, which that was cool. But then I was the fattest kid in my high school.
Oh my gosh.
I was the fattest kid in my high school, like officially in grade 9. Because there was another fat kid, but he graduated. Like there was a really so I wasn't like even that fat, but I was pretty round. Like if you pushed me down a hill, I wouldn't have been able to stop myself. But not like I wasn't in danger.
Right. Right.
But there was a guy who was in my high school, and it's a small high school. There was like 112 people who graduated my graduating year, right? It's like super small high school, very intimate. Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each other's shit. And everybody's going through weird shit. So this guy was comically large for a 17-year-old. Like, he was on a dirt bike and he looked like a grizzly bear.
Oh, gosh.
Like, it was, but because of that, everybody knew him as the big guy.
Right.
And he took off. And I showed up, and I'm now the biggest guy. And I'm nowhere near where he was.
But just because of comparison.
But because I'm bigger than all of the other kids, I'm the new fattest kid. Yeah, so everybody was like, here we go. Like, what the fuck's going on? I was swimming today with a buddy of mine and my cousin, a couple buddies of mine. And we were actually talking about this, about like fun experiences in the pool growing up and stuff like that. Because I was like, whenever I see a kid swim with a shirt on, I know exactly what he's going through.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for that little dude or that little chick. And I hope life becomes awesome for them because I know how shitty that feels.
Yeah.
So everybody was sharing these stories, and my buddy who was there shared that exact sentiment of like, whenever I see somebody wearing a shirt going swimming, like, that sucks. And I was like, yeah, like we get like kids, I don't know how kids are today. I hope they're better. They're probably not. But when I was a kid, I remember kids being super fucking shitty. Like we all had to go swim behind this girl was like a rich girl, and she had a pool, and she just brought all the kids over to swim in her pool, and that's how she was cool. She would hang out inside in her room and like look at everybody through the screen as everybody was swimming in her pool.
That was like so weird.
It's very French bourgeoisie kind of weird
Jesus
shit, right?
Christ.
And it was super strange. And so we were all in grade 8, going into grade 9. It was the summer going into grade 9 before I showed up to learn that I was going to be the fattest kid in school. A bunch of us are there. We're all swimming. It's all guys. All the girls are inside. All the girls are inside of her room, just staring at all the boys. And like we had handsome dudes from where I am, right? Because it's like farm country. These kids were lifting hay bales at 10, right? So we had 14-year-olds with abs and shit. Like, I was not one of them, but we had them.
Right.
And then so my buddy Pat runs over to the window. They're like, Pat, come over here. And he runs over to the window and he's looking up in the window, and 3 girls flash him their boobs.
Grade 9.
He's
wow.
Going into grade 9. He gets all excited. He's like glowing now. He runs, jumps in the pool, does like a move. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then they're like, Nick, come over here. And Nick runs over to the window and he's looking up. They show him his tits. And he runs and he jumps in the pool and he's super excited. And then Evan runs over. And he gets it. And I'm sitting there like, does everybody get a turn? Is this what's going on? This is gonna be interesting. And then so they invite another guy who was over, and he's like he was one of my best friends growing up. There was like a group of us, there were 7 of us, and we were all together all the time, constantly, because that's the way that we were gonna get through this together.
Yes.
And like I would die for all of them still to this day. But he was like supposed to be the wiener of the group.
Right.
And he goes up, and I'm like, if he went up,
yeah,
like, I'm next.
I'm next.
Today's fucking sick.
This reminds me of like when you're picking teams in gym class, and like your friends are all getting picked, and you're just like, okay, I guess I suck at volleyball.
Right. That's for sure why I'm not experienced.
Except instead of volleyball, it's tits.
Yeah, it's everything. So they go, Bryan.
Oh. Why do I?
And I'm like, oh my God, sick. And I run up to the window. And I'm like, yes, hi.
What do they mean?
And they go, we'd show you our tits, but we feel like we don't need you because yours are bigger than ours.
Shut up.
And they dropped the blinds.
Shut the fuck up.
Just like, and it closed. And I was just standing there. And all my dude friends are in the pool just floating, trying to see like residual side boob from an angle. And they just see it happen. And then one of them just starts laughing. And then my other buddy grabs him and pushes him underwater. And they're just staring at me. And I turn around and just go, what the fuck? And then all 4 of them burst out laughing.
My
just
God.
lose their mind. And I was like, okay, this is funny.
Right.
All right, this is okay. Fuck me. I got big tits. I got to do something about it. Never. Eating disorder came much later.
Right, but
I was like,
wow.
I need to fix this because my dad was like, hey, your brother's captain of Team New Brunswick soccer team. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, fatty? It's like, stop eating your grandma's pies. Like, get her to stop making them.
Yeah, stop.
They're delicious. Have you ever had un poulet natural? That shit kicks ass. That shit kicks ass.
Because you're also a people pleaser, so you also don't want to avoid the food. You don't want to say no.
If you say no to an old French lady to her food, she will beat the fuck out of you.
Also, I do think it's a very much so a
you.
maritime thing
To beat your kids?
to be hospitable in terms of food. Like we grow up with like come in for dinner and have more, have seconds, have thirds, have
100%.
3 desserts. You know what I mean? Like it's very much so like a maritime Atlantic Canada thing.
From my experience, I was like super lucky that when I went to university, there was a bunch of people from all over that were in the university course with me, right? So we had 14 white kids, and then everybody else of 144 was from all over the rest of the world.
Wow. Yeah,
in electrical engineering, everybody was from all over. So it was like super cool. And from that, like everybody got along. We all played like you play StarCraft against the Korean kids, and you play Team Fortress against the like Lebanese kids, and like everybody has their game. And as long as you keep playing their games and like doing like they're gonna want you around.
Right.
And once you like, it's so fucking fun to learn from other cultures because they're like, hey, come on, hang out, and then you get to learn everything about them. But then you get to learn that everybody's the fucking same. Everybody just wants to laugh, have fun, and and have a good time.
Yes.
Everybody's just trying to gather stories. So like it was super fucking fun. And the giving food, like I used to hang around with a bunch of guys that were from Tunisie, Tunisia, and they would invite me over for food all the time. And they didn't drink because they were Muslim, but we drank. So they would buy cases of beer for us. And like we'd show up and they'd be like, come on, hang out. We're watching soccer. And I'm like, I hate soccer. But I wanted to hang out with people and like get to know them and stuff. It was going to be super cool. We have tests together. We can share fucking resources. It's going to be awesome.
Right.
So I'd go over and they'd be like, I bought you a case of beer. And I'm like, I'm not going to drink beer if you guys don't drink. And he's like, we got these fucking beer for you.
Right.
Drink and enjoy the game. You guys drink beer, drink your fucking beer. And I'd be like, this is fucking sick. And then you get to hang. Like I still love I'm in contact with so many people from my school.
That's
still.
unreal.
I hate that I went to school, but I love the people that I met. Like I have people all over the world right now that I could message and just be like, hey, what's going on?
Wow.
And they're like, are you in my country? And I'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, this is where you should go, and this is where you should stay.
Holy
and
shit.
And if I'm around, they'll let me stay there. And
that's
same
crazy.
thing, if anybody from my university days hears this and is in New Brunswick and needs a place to stay, I will 100% give them a place to stay.
That is
They've all
so
been like,
cool.
there's all the super, like they're all so sweet. And they were like monsters for sure. But even those monsters had like quirks, I guess.
Yeah.
And like had things that made them lovable.
That's right.
Because everybody has a little bit of positive in them. So you just kind of have
some
to,
negative.
Yeah, everybody has some negative in them. So you kind of have to like go about it by that, like time by time. And from my experience, everybody who comes from not cities, so like rural communities, small communities that everybody kind of like knew everything about each other, those people all want to feed you. Because I think it comes, so yes, it's a maritime thing for sure, but I'm sure if you were to go to like the northern part of BC where like it's just towns, they'll fucking do the same thing. You go to Italy, they'll do the fucking same thing. You go in Cote d'Ivoire in Africa, they'll do the fucking same thing. If you're like in a small enough space, they'll want to fucking feed you because they want to get to know you, because there's nothing going on in their city. Like it's not a city.
Yeah.
So you have to entertain yourself. What's going on? What are you about?
Yeah.
Because if I know about you, I now know about something that I didn't know about before.
That's right.
And everybody likes learning shit. Like some people like to fill their brains with like reality TV and stuff like that, but that's still just learning somebody else's story.
That's
literally all we're doing.
That is
constantly.
a form of learning. Yep.
That's all we're kind of doing. And like, do you remember when Jersey Shore was super big? Everybody knew everything about Guidos. Nothing about Italy. Everything about Guidos.
So wild. Oh
because
my God.
we like learning about other people. And like, I don't know, I think.
Yeah. I love learning.
For people who need to fucking hear this, just learn about somebody else.
That's right.
Just stop thinking about your story.
Listen
to somebody else's.
I'm
just looking for the dude who has a weirder story than me.
Yeah. I'll accept applications for that. If you're listening, if you think you have weirder stories than Bryan, let me know.
Can I co-host that episode?
And then you can come back and you guys can have a weird off.
Does that mean I have to check him off? Like, what does that mean?
Shut up!
I'm not doing that on camera again.
Weird, like who's weirder contest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no jacking off.
Fair, thank you. Not on this website. Follow my OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh, I just put in my picture for approval with OnlyFans. Actually,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. That's super sweet. I don't have a subscription to OnlyFans. If you're a friend of mine and you have an OnlyFans and you feel like I should subscribe to you, tell me and I'll e-transfer you the money. That's cool. I just don't want to be on there. I already spend too much time on my phone, and being on OnlyFans is not another social platform that I want to be. But if you're doing it, I think that's fucking super sick.
I can't believe you just said that you would still send money and not see the nudies.
Yeah, they're my friends. I love them. If they're doing that and that's their passion, they're trying to do it for $22 a month, I can give them $22. I smoke cigarettes. That's 2 less packs.
That's so sweet.
Well, fuck yeah. If you're trying to do something that you love, I'll do literally anything in my power to try to help you get to that. I want people to be happy, ultimately. I'm a people pleaser. If you're being happy and I get to sit, if I get to sit there beside you and you're happy and you're glowing, I feel your happiness and I go, that's nice.
And then that makes you happy.
And then I don't have to think about my shit because I know you're happy. You being in my presence is making you happy. I can be happy with myself. Fuck everything else that happened. The moment is important and you're happy, I'm good.
And then it's just happiness all around.
Yeah, you always try to have happiness all around. I hate being around people that are angry or miserable or stuff all the time. It's sad.
Oh, it's the worst.
And it's not because, oh my God, it's annoying or anything. It's just sad. I don't like seeing people like that.
Right.
I don't like, and I'll do literally any, like, if I don't know you and you're going through a hard time and you want to send me a message, do that. I'll spend the time to talk to you. I don't give a shit.
And I do think that there's a difference between... yeah, exactly.
I give it. That's why, like, for fucking sure. We all go through crazy shit, and some people don't have people to talk to.
Yes, and
you learn my story. I want to learn yours.
Everyone deserves to rant, and everyone is allowed to complain about things, but you need to be making an effort to get out of that situation.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't. And you have to sit it out for a little tiny bit, and that's normal. Sometimes you just there's going to be clearing later on. You're like, I know how I do this, but I have to wait a little bit of time.
That's right.
Fucking talk to someone through that. You're like, this is going to take 4 days. every day. Pick a different friend. Just be like, hey man, how are you today? How are you doing? Just to hear that other people, like, because when you're freaking out, for myself, when I'm freaking out and I go, everything is awful, by talking to other people who are going through cool shit, it gets me to go, it isn't hopeless.
Right.
That's a cool thing you're doing. I'm so fucking happy to hear that you're doing this awesome thing. Good for you. That's fucking sick.
Rather than getting jealous or angry about it, like you're choosing to be stoked. Like you're going the other way. Like some people.
Do you get angry when somebody's doing something good?
No, I don't get angry, but I have gotten jealous.
I feel like jealousy is normal because we all want to be better. So I don't think jealousy is a bad thing as long as the jealousy is not paired with anger or resentment. If it's pleasant jealousy, like, oh, you're doing that, I'm gonna do it better so that you have to do it better next time. That's fucking.
That's right. And I've started, if I see someone who like is kind of where I want to be, and I start to feel jealous, what I do is I just ask them to go for coffee so I can pick their brain about it.
Ooh,
because it's like if they're where you want to be, rather than being jealous and like angry about it, why not learn how they did it?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and hopefully if they're a good person, they'll want to share how they did it. Not everyone does. Not everyone does. But
you got introverts out there who don't like talking to people. That's just the reality in the world, and for sure those people exist. So if somebody doesn't want to tell you, maybe it's not because they don't want to tell you because they don't want you to succeed. Maybe they just don't want to tell you because they don't like talking to people.
That's right too.
There's a lot of people out there who really don't like talking to people, and I'm the opposite. When I'm not talking to anybody, I freak out. So sometimes I like to go, if I was the opposite of this, the people who, when people talk to them, they feel the way that I feel when no one's talking to me, that must be scary. So when you talk to a stranger and you're like, hey, and they're like, oh, and you're like, oh, I get what's going on because I have that feeling when I'm alone. Right. I'm going to back up. I'm going to take a step back. If you want to talk to me, you approach me.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah.
Everybody's going through other shit. It's important to not go, only my shit matters.
That's right.
You have to realize that everyone's going through some shit.
And it's not the same as yours.
Some people shit's good. Some people have good shit. And other people shit sucks.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, people are eating vegetables.
Exactly. And their shit sucks. But it's just kind of everybody's going through that. So as long as you try, the world would be better if everybody were to just be like, instead of getting angry at other people because I don't understand how you did that or why you did that. That's not how I would have did that. Because they're not fucking you, asshole.
Yes. And the other thing too is
that
like,
person probably doesn't like pudding. Maybe you love pudding.
It's about recognizing that people do things for a reason. Like people make the decisions they make for a reason. Like it's part of why
sometimes by accident.
Sometimes by accident. But like using just like basic psychology 101 sometimes like people like to make other people feel small because they feel small. That is like a basic principle.
Yeah.
That like when I see someone being shitty, I instantly go to like they hurting. Like they're hurting deep down.
Yeah, 100%. That's like the whole fucking bully syndrome, right? People only hurt people because they're hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. Which, yes and no. I think some people are just dog shit as well. You have really people who've lived pretty chill lives doing weird shit.
Yeah, that's true too. And then that's really fucked up.
That's just scary to me.
Oh man. So the pool thing happened.
Oh yeah.
And then when did
today or in high school?
In high school.
Yeah. Okay.
The tits. When did you realize that like the eating disorder stuff was like a legit eating disorder and not just like when did it get serious?
I woke up in the hospital one time.
Oh.
And the doctor was like, yo, you can't do this.
Oh, God.
And I was passing out all the time. I was fainting because I would go like, I'd eat for a couple days. And then, so I went from like super fat and then I caught something. I caught like mono. No, it wasn't mono. I caught some sickness and I was sick for like 4 weeks and I never get sick, so it was like super weird for me, but I wasn't eating and like I did eat a lot of sweets and treats and shit like that, and I essentially did it to myself. So by getting sick and only drinking soups and water, I essentially cleansed my body of like 30 pounds in a month.
Right.
And because I used to like my heaviest was 346 pounds. So I was a large young man.
Yes.
And then I lost 30 pounds, and then I kind of came back, and everybody was just like, hey, you look amazing. And I'm like, I almost just died. What are you guys talking about right now? It was a fucking, I don't know how I forgot this. I had an intestinal parasite.
Oh, shit.
So I was violently sick. And like for 3 weeks, I could only, like for the first week, I couldn't eat anything. I was just drinking water and taking a bunch of medication. And then second week, I was just eating white rice.
Right.
And like other stuff like that, trying to like
bland
purge
foods.
my system.
Yeah.
Trying to purge my system. So then I came back, and essentially my body developed an eating disorder by itself. It was just like, you can't eat for a month. And then, so it was like, by crazy happenstance that I discovered, I can lose weight super easy by just not eating shit.
And then
that's a thing that I can do.
And not only that, but you were seeing people positively react to like the results of that.
I was coming back, my eyes were sunken because I couldn't sleep for the last month, and they were like, you look amazing. And I'm like, and I don't have pimples anymore because I don't drink soda, and I lost 30 pounds. So I'm not, like my extra large shirts are now fitting better.
Right.
So they're like, you look amazing. And I'm like, I what? And then people started being nicer to me. People stopped saying mean things. And I was like, why are they not saying these? And I'd say something, and where somebody would normally say something back, and I was expecting it because I was like, I got something ready. And they wouldn't say it anymore. And I was like, what's going on?
Right. Yeah. What the fuck is happening here?
Why are people being different? And
it's crazy.
I realized through the compliments that is it easier because they think I'm doing better because I'm losing weight? And then it became, I've always been like a dude of science. I like experiments. When I don't know how something works, which is super fucked up, I feel like I've a thing that I try to not do anymore, which was something that I was doing a lot as a kid, was if I didn't know how a situation would happen, I would like talk somebody into doing that thing to see how it would happen.
Like as a test run.
To see, yeah, exactly. To be like, I wonder what this would be like. I wonder, can we tie 2-liter bottles to a BMX and get a kid to jump off the wharf? I can't swim, so how would that work?
Whoa.
And then you convince a kid who knows how to swim to do it.
Right.
Sometimes they don't know how to swim. That was a fucking weird experience. A guy biked off the wharf growing up, and he hit the water, and then realized when he hit the water, I can't swim, fuck. So he started screaming, and his dad saw him and went, shit, my son's drowning, and jumped in, and then realized he couldn't swim either. So there was a 14-year-old and a 40-year-old man drowning.
Oh my god.
And some third guy jumped in and like carried both of them out of the water and stuff. And I was like, yo, how did you not know you didn't know how to swim?
That's madness.
So that's how we found out that he couldn't.
Jesus.
But like, yeah, so I realized super young that's not a cool thing to do. That's not a nice thing to do at all. To be like, hey, you could probably get hurt, but think about how cool it would look if you did it.
Right.
And like, because that's kind of how everybody kind of did things back home. Like I was not a biker at all. And they were like, hey, what happened is when I first showed up, everybody was like, hey, you'd be hard to bunny hop over. And I was like, probably, yeah, for sure. I don't even know how to bunny hop. And they're like, can you lay down there so we can bunny hop over you?
Is that when you lay down on
the
like, bikes?
They just like,
oh, that's terrifying.
And land on the other side of you.
Oh God. Okay.
And I'm like, no, not a chance. Nah, that's not a thing we're doing. And they're like, yeah, you're gonna do it. There's two of us. We're jumping over you. And I was like, no. And they're like, everybody's here. Just like, let's do this. And I'm like, no. And one guy was like just the high school bully. He was just a dick to people. Same guy who fell off the wharf and almost drowned. And the other guy was my buddy. Like still my best friend, like one of my best friends to this day. Like I talk to him every day and I love him dearly. But he was like, let us bunny hop you, man. And I was like, why are you trying to do this? You're supposed to be on my side.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then the bully got aggressive and was like, hey, if you don't let me bunny hop over you, I'm going to beat you up. And his dad was a mechanic, and he helped him build mechanic hands. So his hands were calloused from work at like 14. And he was like, I'm going to beat you up. And I was like, I don't like violence. Let's do this bunny hop thing. And then I laid down, and he bunny hopped over me. And then my friend started giving me shit. Like, you're going to let him bunny hop you and not me? And then everybody started giving me shit. And I was like, no. And he's like, okay, I won't have to bunny hop you if you ramp over there. And it's like this 4-foot ramp. And I've never like ramped anything. I walked to this place where everybody is, right? And I'm like, I can't do that. I don't have a bike. And they're like, you can use that the poor kid's bike. You're like, you're gonna use the poor kid's bike. And I'm like, I'm not good. No, I'm not doing that.
Oh my
and then he brings it over. He's like, yeah, you are. And I'm like,
oh my
fuck.
God. This is like out of a movie.
Okay.
This is like a teen movie right now.
Ugh, gross. So I'm like, okay, fine. Let's do this. I'll just fucking ramp and it'll be over. And then I went over to the bike ramp and then I ramped. And then when I landed on the other side, I'm very heavy. This is a small, poor child's bike, so it's been like 20 years old. And the fork bends outwards. And the handlebars hit me in the dick. My face hits the tire. My nose starts spraying blood everywhere. And like, my nose is the only thing on me I like. Like, don't fuck with my nose. Are you kidding me right now? It's the only thing I like. So my nose starts to bleed, and then I hit my dick. And sometimes, I'm not sure if you know this, but if you hit a guy, if ever a guy is acting in a way that you don't like, kick him in the dick.
Yeah.
As hard as you can.
Worst pain.
Because sometimes you throw up.
Did you throw up?
All over myself. Oh. But now I didn't have to get somebody else to bunny hop over me, so it was a win. Victory in my book. Drinking.
Did you throw up immediately?
Oh yeah. Well, it was like blood first, and then throw up. Yeah, it was coming out of. I couldn't breathe. There was fluids coming out of everything. It was fucked. And then I used to cry all the time.
Oh.
And, no, it's okay. It's good. That's not because people hurt my feelings. Because I was very clumsy and I would hurt myself a lot. And, like one time, I was spying on two guys. Like I was like 12, and I was spying on a drug deal, and I wanted to remember how they were talking, so I brought a yak back. Do you remember a yak back? So I'm hiding in the bushes. I'm 12-year-old. There's two guys in a pit, like discussing selling drugs to each other. I'm just listening to the bushes, just like, this is awesome. This is fucking awesome. And then I don't know if you remember how yakbacks worked.
I think so.
But you would press it.
Yeah.
And it would record 5 seconds of audio, and it would immediately play it back on a loop. I forgot about this magical feature. I didn't realize that's how that was going to behave. So I'm sitting in the bushes, and I record it. And let's say it was like, hey, man, you got the stuff, which isn't what he said at all. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
And then so I do it, and then out of nowhere, it's just like, hey, man, you got the stuff. Hey, man, you got the stuff. Hey, man, you got the stuff. And then I'm just holding this, just like, holy fuck, this is bad.
And it was loud too, I imagine.
Oh yeah, it was obnoxiously loud. It was made so that your parents would hit you. That's what the 90s was about. It was just giving you toys that would either A, hurt you, or B, get your parents frustrated enough that they would hit you.
Yeah.
That's what the 90s were.
Yeah, very true.
Stupid.
Jesus.
So essentially, these kids, they're like 20, so I'm gonna say kids now that I'm an adult, are like, what the fuck is that? And they turn over and they hear where it's coming from, so they start running towards me, and I panic and I start running away from them. And then so I'm running not very fast, so I don't know how they didn't catch me. And I'm looking back, and then as I look back, I'm looking forward, and I'm like, my feet are touching the ground. Like I'm floating right now. What the fuck's going on? And it felt like a cartoon where my legs were just like.
Yeah.
And I looked forward, and then I looked down, and I was like 25 feet in the air because I ran off the side of the pit because they dig out the side of the rock for potash. And so they just dig it, and then there's just these giant fucking hills.
Oh my god.
And I'm sure I was in the air. I understand physics. I have an engineering degree, and I know it's impossible, but I'm sure I was up there for like 6 seconds.
That's insane.
And I was just like looking down, like, this isn't going to be good, dude. And then
they were chasing you, right?
They were chasing me. They stopped at the edge because they were just like, fuck it, he's dead. Essentially, they were just like, he's good. He clearly lost the act back. We're good. And they just walked away. And then the only thing that saved me was when I was falling. And when they dig out potash, sometimes boulders fall out, but they're not hard. So like you could just smack them and then like break apart.
Oh, okay.
And I landed on that.
Holy shit.
But I landed like on the rock like this, and it ripped the skin off of my arm.
Shit.
But I recuperated the yak back.
Oh my god.
And I walked to my buddy's place because his mom was a nurse. And I was like, yo, if I go home, my parents are going to freak out and not act very nice. I'm going to go to my buddy's place. His mom will take care of me. And so I'm there, and she freaks out, and she brings me inside. She's cleaning everything. She's like, what the fuck happened? And then I told her the whole story. And she said, honey, you can't tell that to anyone. And I was like, what? I was like, you don't want to get hurt. Just let them do their thing. Stay away from them.
Right.
Which is essentially her going, snitches get stitches.
That's right.
She was just like, don't do that. And I was just like, okay. So it was just known that I'm always getting hurt. So that's back to, I cried a lot growing up. But it's not for sadness. It's for I hurt myself.
You know what the Yak Bak story reminds? It's just something about the idea of like things playing loudly when you don't want them to.
Oh my god!
Something
what was your worst experience?
There was this thing called a Mega Mic.
Oh yes.
Do you remember Mega Mics?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course I remember Mega Mics.
I need to actually just see it.
Mega Mic, Amazon. Check how much this shit's worth.
Do they still sell them on Amazon?
For sure, somebody has them.
Well, I'm just gonna go to
Megaphones, Mega Mic.
It was like a little thing.
I think Mega Mic, the mic was spelt with a K.
Was it?
Because everything in the 90s was spelt with a fucking K. Actually, it was like that from like the 20s and stuff. That's like Kraft branding started that shit because they were like, if people see a K instead of a C, they'll be blown away.
That's
TVs
it right there.
Yeah.
This is it. So for people who don't know,
it's a 50-cent toy on eBay.
God, I want to get it. So
it's
bad.
50 cents.
I feel like comedians.
I'll give you 50 cents.
I feel like comedians need this when they're trying jokes out. Because there's a laugh. There's a laugh one. So there's a clap. There's laugh. There's music. There's like a ding ding ching and like an air horn. And there was one time that we were sneaking around school in the hallways. And I accidentally pressed the like applause. I just the feeling when you're a kid.
That's amazing.
That feeling of getting caught or like you're about to get caught doing something stupid.
Just having that clap is the same thing as like opening your phone to porn on the bus.
That's right.
It's like, oh no. Everybody doesn't need to hear this.
I'll never forget. I don't even remember the exact story. I know that we were like in a stairwell and I hit the button.
So it was echoey. You chose the most acoustically presentable place in the school and you were like, Mega Mic.
It was literally spelled Mega Mic like the name Mike.
Oh, don't Google Mega Mic, M-I-K-E. You're going to see dicks. No, never mind.
Surprisingly none.
Hilarious. Safe search is on.
Oh, is it?
Oh, for sure. Have you turned it off?
I didn't even know that was a thing. Oh, no, it's not turned off. I think I can turn it off there. Yeah.
Well, if you go more about safe search, it'll tell you more. I'm not telling you to do this because I don't want you to see the awful things that are on the internet. That's not what I'm trying to encourage you to do. However,
you're underestimating me. I love seeing fucked up shit on the internet.
Well, man.
Well, okay? This will be fun. What's the most fucked up thing you've seen on the internet? I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. I wonder if mine still exists.
Do you want me to tell you the thing that hurt me the most to see?
Do we want to go down that road?
I don't
Why
know.
not? Why not? Let me get you more water first.
Oh, please.
So you're not dying of thirst. Is it like dark, like sad dark?
There's some weird things. Hey guys, thank you for listening to Sarah's podcast, Intoxicated. It's been a wild experience. We appreciate you. Sarah's been doing a kick-ass job for the last year and a half doing this shit. So if you can give it a like and a subscribe, I would appreciate that. And I'm parched, and I haven't stopped speaking since she left. What's the fucking deal? Please edit that out. What's the deal with talking so much? I want to take my hat off, but I feel like I look like a hobo right now. Thank you so much.
Love a hat. Love a beard and a hat. Okay. Most fucked up thing you've seen on the internet.
I watched a dude get fucked by a horse. Like that was like there's so much.
Oh, I feel like I've heard about this one.
Yeah, it's called Mr. Hands.
Oh yeah.
It's not even like the weirdest. I was like obsessed with 4chan when I was a kid. I don't know if you know 4chan.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So for some reason, like I had a couple older friends that were like, "Oh my god, this is so fucked up," and the whole appeal of it being fucked up was funny to me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, everybody's just here to make each other uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable all of the time. This is hilarious to watch people be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then they oftentimes put like I've seen stuff that I wish I didn't see, but I'm glad that I know that it's happening and people are putting it out there, because I'm like, those are the people that I don't want around me.
Yeah, that's exactly
It makes me aware.
So mine, so you remember when like, 4chan, so you remember like shocker videos, like were a thing, like there was a hot time, like a hot,
Girls, One Cup, Lemon Party, Meat Spin.
Yep. So there was one called Octopus Girl. I don't know what you did. I didn't see you. I'm gonna have fun editing that.
No, I was apologizing for my hairline while you were talking.
I wonder if it still exists. I don't know if it exists.
What
anymore.
are we looking at?
So I saw a video of
Those of you
girl.
who don't know, I think I might be going to prison.
I'm gonna just say shocker video and see if this pulls up.
You're just talking about tentacle porn. This is a whole subgenre of porn.
This was a chick who squeezed out an octopus out of her vagina.
Yeah, that's tentacle porn. It's this whole subgenre of porn. It's weird, dude. Some people love it. Some people really like cephalopods.
I don't know what's happening there, but that's really... Yeah, I don't...
Coming out of her nose.
I don't think it exists on the internet anymore, but it was... when I saw it, it was...
You could go... I'm not telling you to do this, but you could go on any porn site, any recognizable porn site, whether it be YouPorn, YouJizz, Pornhub, whatever the fuck. Whatever black shirt with an orange logo you want to use... and then write tentacle porn, you will have plethora of videos.
That's interesting.
Let's not do this.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. There was one night I had a podcast guest over. We started looking at local male escorts on during the podcast, because I was talking about like male sex workers.
You could send them to prison doing that.
Actually, it wasn't during recording. It was afterwards.
That's super fortunate.
Yeah.
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 You could send people to prison for just trying to get by.
Yeah, but I was more looking out of curiosity of like price.
I get that it would be funny too, and like that's a really fun. And I have those conversations with my friends all the time. It's really fun to go on Craigslist and stuff. And like, for example, I one time found a girl that I used to see.
Really?
And then I just sent her a message, be like, "Yo, is everything okay? Do you need help? Because if you're doing this out of like if you're doing this because you feel like you have to, like, I'll give you shit and leave you alone. But like, is everything cool?" And she was just like, "Yeah, I just really like doing this. I was stripping for a little bit, and the money was good. And then I realized that like, I really like doing this, and I can choose the people that I have around me, and it's something that I feel comfortable doing." And I'm like, "Rad, fuck yeah, good for you, dude."
Yeah.
And so like since then I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. And like I have 3 friends that are escorts.
Oh, okay.
And like I love them all super dearly. It's a career path that a lot of people look down on for no reason. Just because they're, I don't fucking know, dude.
I don't know either.
People
it's
go,
the same.
They're doing something I don't like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like doing that. So they're weird for doing it. It's like, you play the guitar, they don't like playing the guitar.
That's
or
right.
you like Jeopardy, they might not like watching Jeopardy. Everybody has different interests and things that make them happy.
And
if that's being plowed by strangers for money, fuck you. You don't like your job. You're I think a lot of a lot of the time people are upset because people have funner jobs than them.
That is so fucking true. But another thing with the sex work thing, I do think that people think, because I've had an online sex worker on the podcast before.
Those are cool too.
And she was talking about Chili.
Yeah,
Chili.
I've never spoken to her, but she's very fucking talented
and so smart, and like knows a lot about everything, which is so great. But she was saying about how,
if I'm not mistaken, she used to post like a lot of literature stuff before, like books she was reading, and I was like, that's super fucking dope.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it for a while. Instagram's weird. Sometimes it stops showing you people like randomly. It's like, oh, you like and talk to these people more. It's like, yeah, I talk to my friends. I'm not gonna keep commenting on strangers' stuff.
Right.
But it's like cool to see what's going on. That's the whole reason you exist, Instagram, you dummy. And then it's like, you can't see these people. So like, I find a lot of my friends that are getting through this, and like, if I saw their posts, I would like it, because then it throws it into the algorithm so that more people see it.
Exactly.
And by liking somebody's post, even like commenting also helps them. But just by liking them, you're kind of just being like, I believe in you, and give them a little good luck elbow. Like, I believe in you, keep going.
I'm all about the likes.
Yeah, 100%. I was told the other some people think like this, I guess. Somebody told me the other day that they told my friend that they thought I wanted to sleep with them because I liked their picture.
That's not true.
they were like, yeah, she thinks you want to sleep with her because you liked her picture. I was like, I just like the picture, dude. What the fuck's going on?
I think that some people see Instagram as way bigger than what it is.
I mean, it's a huge platform, but it doesn't mean I want anything. Sometimes you have a nice face.
So you liking the pic, like you didn't mean anything by it, you just liked it.
I like the pic. It's a cool pic.
What if...
The world is a picture book now.
Asking for myself, what if you went on a date with a girl and didn't follow her back? Would that mean anything?
No.
It wouldn't at all?
Okay, what do you mean? So just to understand the situation, her and I go on a date.
Yeah, it goes
well?
It goes well. And you flirted a bit after.
Is he active? Like very active?
Yeah, on social media, stories.
All social media?
I don't know about the other sites, but I know that he posts.
So he's always posting?
I know that he posts stories, which
a lot of
not a lot of guys do.
No, for sure. So you can suspect by him posting a lot of stories that he has a lot of interaction because he's doing it, so people are probably replying, right? Yes. So there's a lot going on, so you might have just not seen it. You could have followed him and just like...
That's good. Thank you for... That helps my ego a bit.
Yeah. Like if because some people are obsessed with their... Like not obsessed, but some people are very reliant on their phone and they're like, this is how I feel good. So they put a lot of stuff out into the world because you get a lot of response and then you get to talk to people. I love going out and talking to people, which is something that you're not really allowed to do anymore and that hurts my heart. I like being able to just talk to, like, I talk to old ladies walking down the street. I talk to random dudes that I don't know.
I bet you're a good cab ride.
Like, I fucking love
cab drivers.
If they want to talk, I will talk all day. If they want to tell me stories, I'll listen and ask.
Yeah.
I'll listen to you like a best friend on Adderall.
Like,
I like listening to people's fucking stories. Cabbies have the coolest stories.
Yes.
Some of them, their stories are terrifying.
Yeah, some of them.
I've had some very scary cab drivers that I was like, I don't know if I should call the police right now. It's so fucked up.
Oh, man.
One time.
Oh, here we go. Another one time.
Okay, so one time we were in a cab and we were all fucking around. And it was me, a buddy of mine, and it was 3 dudes and 2 girls that I'd never met before. They were all friends.
You hadn't met any of these people?
I met one of my buddy was there with me.
Okay.
I'm more inclined to do things if I have a friend with me. I will do stupider if I go out if I have a one friend night, I'm going to get in trouble.
Because that person is your like partner in crime for the night.
No. My job at that point is to be entertaining to them.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
My job is, if you spent,
Jesus Christ.
You chose.
Always entertaining.
You have everything that you could do in your life. You could be reading a book, washing your hair right now. You could do making a sandwich. But you're choosing to hang out with me. And I'm thankful. So I want to be there and hanging out and being there for you and being like, what the fuck going on? How is everything cool? And like trying.
You want to be on.
That's why I'm exhausting. Not on. Because it's not a performance. I'm not trying to perform. I'm just trying to make sure they're happy. Because if they're happy, I'm happy. So we're just like, I'm just kind of trying to fuck around. And I'll do literally anything that I think they'll think is funny.
Right.
Which is how I keep getting myself into a lot of situations. Like, that's how I accidentally joined a sex cult.
Right.
Because me and my buddy.
Listen to the first episode.
Me and my buddy were like, keep just trying to one up each other to try to like make each other laugh. And then those series of events butterfly effect into us being there for a very long time.
That's right. Oh,
so
man.
So like it's safer for me to hang out with a group or by myself.
Interesting. So the one friend hang is
dangerous.
So what happened with this cab?
It's so much fun.
So you're in a cab.
Yeah, so I'm with a bunch of strangers and I'm just trying to make them laugh. And he was smoking a cigarette, so I walked into the cab smoking a cigarette. And he didn't say anything, and this would have been 2010. 2010, or 2009. I was just old enough to drink. And so we're all hanging out in this cab, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and he's talking crazy stuff, and he has lights going on in his car, and we're just fucking around. I'm trying to make this group of people laugh. Cab driver's kind of losing his mind. Because he doesn't like what's going on. I'm like, one of the dudes there was like sitting on my lap. So I started to pretend like he was my son. So like I was like holding him by the chest, and he was like rubbing his head on my head, and I was like, yeah, good boy, like everything's gonna be cool, like I know we're cramped, like everything's gonna be all right. And we're just like fucking around, and then the cab drivers, like 2 guys are holding each other in my cab, and got really weird about it. And I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. So I tried to light the moon. I was like, I'm gonna like just say something stupid. And I was like, hey man, if you let me smoke a joint in your car, I'll give you one. And he's like, fucking smoke your joint. And I was like, okay. So I lit the joint, and as soon as I lit it, he goes, but if you can do that, I can do this. And he leaned under his seat and pulled out a bottle of vodka and just cracked it.
Holy
took
shit!
A giant drink and put it back. And I literally just had the joint. I just dropped it, and I was like, oh, I'm dead. I'm gonna die. This cab driver is going to kill all of us.
I thought you were gonna say he took out a gun. That's where I thought it. That's where I thought it was going.
No, he wasn't like. He was uncomfortable with everything, but you could tell. You know when people get drunk and then they get like ballsy? I can say what I want because I'm drunk, and they have no idea that the things that they say are sometimes moronic, and people are gonna go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And that drunk confidence, I feel like that's what was going on. So that's why he was like aggressive with us as we were just like playing around and having fun.
Holy So did I? So
he got hammered. He was just like drinking the entire time, and it was like a cab ride, and so we were leaving Moncton and going back to Shediac because we were gonna go sleep on the beach. Because my house, like growing up, I lived like a kilometer, like 800 meters from a beach.
That's amazing.
Like of Parley Beach, like the beach in
Oh,
Shediac.
sweet! Yeah.
I grew up on this coolest
I love that beach. I've been there. Yeah.
You didn't grow up there as a faggot. I don't like beaches now because of that. I'm like, fuck you. Now they have sharks, and I'm like, fuck you, people.
Oh, right.
There's 2 sharks floating around next to Parley Beach, and I'm just like, that's what you get for not letting me come.
I always used to say there's sharks in those waters, and that's why I don't swim. People used to, there's no sharks here. I'm like, there are now.
Well, it's just because they didn't have the website to know that they were here back then.
That's right.
So people were ignorant. They're like, they couldn't be sharks. It's like, you're not a marine biologist.
Yeah.
You're no dick.
Yeah, seriously though.
You don't even know what kind of birds are in your backyard.
There's literally more sharks than we think. I gotta buy this Mega Man.
Yeah, you can't leave a 50-cent toy from your childhood. Imagine, oh my god, the base of it has the selfie stick or selfie camera holder material, is it? So you can like hang it onto things, and oh no, it's a phone curly line.
I think that the back has like a little clip thing that you could clip to your belt. So you could clip it to your belt and then hold the mic.
That's super cool. That reminds me of Minnie the Moochie. You ever seen? It's a YouTube song. It's just 4 dudes in the street screaming like lunatics, but it's beautiful. Such a good fucking song.
Okay, let's get to like my planned questions, and then we'll wrap it up because we're at 2 hours.
We're at 2 hours?
Yeah, this is Rogan, baby. Rogan length pod.
Straight up, hanging out with you is so much fun. I did not realize that 2 hours had passed.
Right? It's a fun time on this podcast.
Man, I love you. I just like spending time with you. Every time I see you, it's super fun.
You're honestly one of my favorite people. Like, one of my favorite people that I've met in, like, this year.
I say it all the time.
It's so weird that, like, we hadn't met. Like, we went so long without meeting. You know? Like,
yeah.
But
cool.
it's a beautiful friendship.
I actually thought that you didn't like me for, like, a year.
What?
I was like, oh, no. Because, like, Brandon Michaels, which I love dearly, and if you listen to this, I love you, and I hope you have a great day. And I'm sure your socks are amazing, because he always says, fuck you. But he was like, hey, dude, there's this girl in Halifax, and she's doing this podcast, and it's super fun, and she's super cool, and super funny, and it's a lot of fun, and she's going to get comics to do it. And like, I already had a blast, and I think you'd get along with her, so I think you should send her a message.
Right, I remember this.
And I had an anxiety attack.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, I don't like messaging strangers. Unless like something happens where if you're posting about something that I'm passionate about, something that I really appreciate, something that I really like, I'll be like, yo, that's a cool thing. Because that's what social media is for. It's if you're doing a thing, if you're putting something out there, it's hopefully for if people can appreciate or what's the word I'm looking for, if people can like relate to what you're posting, can have the opportunity to go like, yo, dude, me too.
Exactly.
And that's what I think it should be used for. If other people don't use it for that, I'm sorry if that's what I'm doing.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah. So I always kind of do that shit. Oh, fuck, where were we going with this?
Oh, you thought I didn't like you.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. So I was having a panic attack, and I was like, if I message her, I don't want her to think that, like, I'm just like, I want to be on your podcast.
Right.
But it was more of a, I hear that you're really cool and you want to hang out with comics. And if my friends like you, I know I'm going to like you.
That's right.
Because I've always come up, like, my entire life, I've always had groups of friends.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, there was 7 of us. And we were all together all day, every day, 7 days a week. We all crashed at one kid's house because his parents were always upstairs fucking. So they would just let all the kids hang out downstairs and drink unlimited Kool-Aid. So we just play video games downstairs, drink Kool-Aid, get fat, and, like, protect each other. And so I've had that, and then I went to university, and I lived with 4 dudes, and then, like I said, it was super tight in university, and everybody was, like, trying to get to know each other. So I had, like, groups of friends. Like, I was friends with, always out and doing stuff with people. And then I was like, if she's a friend of my friend is someone I want to get to know.
Yes.
Because if you're spending time with my friends, I want to be able to spend my time with my friends. Yeah. And the best way for all of that to happen as efficiently as possible and as often as possible is if you and I are friends.
Yes, exactly.
If you're friends with my friends,
you're trying to create like a group kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
100%.
a pod.
It's like, if you're awesome, we should all make this. Everybody who's awesome should stick together.
That's right.
And if somebody's shitty, I'll be the first to be like, yo, dude, stop being a fucking idiot. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I just like having cool people around me. So I was panicked because I was like, she sounds super cool. And what if I come off as a loser? So I just sent you a message and I was like, hey. So
I have the message here. Because I went back, I was on my personal one. I'm like, okay, it's not on that. It is on the Intoxicated Instagram.
Yeah, because I was like, if I send it on her personal, she was going to think I'm a weirdo.
So this is the thing. So you said, hey there, this might be a long shot, but I just got back from our show and saw my friend Brandon Michaels, who was raging about how cool your podcast was. He had nothing but amazing things to say about it, and he suggested that I message you to let you know that I'm in town I was in town for a few days. If you're looking for a guest, I'd love to volunteer as tribute. Cheers, Otter. And then I messaged you. I went to my personal one, and then got back to you. And this was back in 2018, so this was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Took like a year and a half to meet.
Like, because and for people who don't know, you're in New Brunswick, so you don't live in Halifax currently.
It was right before I left for Vancouver.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
I was gone for a year.
This was August 24th, 2018. Yeah, I was like, hey, Brian, would love to have you on. This weekend was a busy one for me. How long you around till? And then it just didn't work out. And then eventually, I don't remember what it was I don't remember how, but we're friends now. And that's all that matters.
You posted about, you were asking something, and I sent you an article.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, yo, I think this might be what you're looking for. And
yeah.
Like, oh, cool, thanks. And we talked about it for a little bit. And then you were like, how haven't we met yet?
I know.
And I was like, I know. I agree. You're friends with all of my friends. How haven't we met yet? And then you were like, hey, you should do my podcast. And then we had never met. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do our podcast. And we've never met before. And like, what is this going to be like? Because, like, what if you don't like me? And I'm sitting here and there's a camera in front of my face. And
there's
I'm like,
no way.
No.
I don't know how anyone could not like you, is the thing.
Don't like me.
I don't understand that.
I'm a lot.
You're not a lot in my mind.
I appreciate
to me.
You. Thank you. I love that.
You're just the right amount. You're like the Goldilocks. Goldie Otter.
I'm a golden doodle.
Just the right amount. That's the right amount.
I super appreciate that. Thank you.
No, but like seriously, yeah, no, that's so cute. Yeah.
So I'm very glad that 2 years later I get I'm sitting here with you for the second episode.
Yeah,
and this was super fun. It fucking flew by.
It was Brandon and Vaughn actually I had Hottie Brander on as my first comic, and then Brandon, and then Andrew Vaughn, and then from there it just like snowballed. And now
those were great ideas.
Now I can't get
Brandon
rid of
Michaels
any of y'all.
Super funny. And Vaughn is.
He's great. He's great. What were the questions? Oh yeah. So okay, prepared questions. What you need to name?
I was supposed to prepare things. You made me talk for 2 hours and get stoned. What the fuck? Prepare. Now let's have a conversation.
Something that you don't like about yourself and something that you do like about yourself.
Something I don't like about myself. I very don't like the fact that there's a lot of things that I don't commit to doing because I'm scared that I'm going to fail, so I allow myself to fail immediately. So like quitting smoking, exercising, shit like that. Like I could do better. I recognize that I could do better. Doesn't happen. So I hate that.
Fear of failure.
Yeah. I like that I'm good with animals. That's sick.
Oh, that is such a good... And you're a cat guy, which is so...
Cat and dog. You have a horse. I'll love it. And I'll kiss it on the mouth.
And I
love animals.
think cat people are like night people Like cat, like you
'Cause if
don't
not, your cat's
usually
gonna
meet
piss you off.
you don't usually meet a cat person who doesn't like dogs or doesn't like horses or doesn't like other animals. But dog people are very exclusive, and they're so pro dog that they don't always like other animals.
Do you know why?
Ooh, do you have a theory as to why?
100%. I have theories about
tell me,
everything.
tell
I'm
me.
always wrong, but this is my theory.
What's the cat and dog theory?
People who like cats and other animals, it's because they're compassionate.
Right.
I like having other things around me. It's alive. It's happy. I'm happy to have it around. It's cool that other things are living. I can't talk to you, but I'll whistle you a bird, and then you'll whistle back at me, and it's like we're communicating. Maybe you'll follow me through the trees. It's going to be fun. Like, I had a conversation with a bird for half an hour the other day. It was fucking sick.
What? In the woods?
Yeah, I was hunting for a waterfall, and it wasn't going very well, so I was just whistling, and this other bird started whistling, and then we were doing the same whistle, and then I changed my whistle, and he changed his whistle, and then I was like, holy fuck, you're communicating. So then he did a weird whistle, and then I did it, and then it's like we kept going back and forth, and like repeat, change.
Whoa.
Repeat. So we kept like mimicking each other, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And Evan was with me at the time, and he turned around and he goes, yo, dog, how long are you going to do this? And I'm like, for as long as he wants, because I don't know that he's talked to anybody else.
I don't trust people who don't like animals.
Okay.
I
And then you
seriously
have
don't.
people who only like dogs. Why do you only like dogs? Because you have power over it's your animal.
It's your loyal.
It's a no, my life is together. If I'm taking care of a dog, my life is together. I'm taking care of a thing. I'm so sorry for all the dog lovers out there being like, I'm a nice person, and I'm like, no, you're not. You own a dog and hate other animals. You suck.
Yeah.
If you hate other animals, that's fine. If you don't want to touch other animals, you're like, I don't want to touch a horse. For sure, those things bite.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
But if you say I hate all other animals, you're a dog shit. You probably don't like people. You
Yeah,
just like your dog because your dog's the only one that'll deal with your shit.
But then there's other people who just don't like animals at all. Like
If you're-
dogs, cats. And like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. I love
people are
animals more
allergic.
than I love humans. Like,
More than you love humans?
maybe not more, but I really love animals.
Oh, for sure.
Like
I think
I can
anything
go
that's
down the
alive-
train, the YouTube train of like animal rescue.
That
Like
shit makes me cry.
yeah, if I ever need to cry, I'll watch Animal Rescue.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Everything makes me. I can watch a Dawn commercial, and if somebody says something sad, I'll start crying. I'm like, oh, I know what you went through.
Did you? Oh, question. Did you tear up at Andrew Vaughn's service? Did you?
Kind of a lot. I wore
I didn't-
giant dark.
I only saw you
sunglasses
at the
on
beginning and the
purpose.
end. I didn't see you during.
I wore a black mask so you couldn't see it get wet, and I wore giant dark sunglasses that covered my whole face. And no, I didn't have a hat because I'm not a fucking monster.
Right.
I'm
Right.
joking. That was an attack for anybody on a hat. I just always wear hats. And
Yeah.
I feel like if I was wearing a hat to hide my hairline, because that's why I wear hats.
Right.
I feel like I was. Anyway.
It would be too much.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't for me to do.
Did you find that like the people around you were tearing up too? I was in the second row and I didn't see a lot of people in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. People were having a rough go. A lot of people, I was very impressed for a bunch of emotionally damaged people, comedians. A lot of people were holding it together very well.
Yeah.
If somebody else cries, I cry.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going through something and that sucks.
Yeah.
And I get what you're going through. And like, I was also very sad because I love Andrew Vaughn to death. And him and Travis Lindsay are like the two people who said things to me that made me not want to quit anymore.
That's right.
Because I was like, I'm obsessed with having people be happy. And sometimes when that doesn't happen when I'm on stage, I go, I'm just wasting people's time.
That's you really hard on yourself about it.
Oh yeah, 100. I want everybody to have a great time. If you came out, you deserve the thing to be fun. And if I'm not providing you that fun, that sucks. I didn't do my job. That's shitty. I guess that's why I keep trying to be better, and it's beneficial, I guess. So fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But they both said really cool things that I will never forget.
That's good.
So I feel very attached to Vaughn.
Yeah.
So during Travis's thing, I lost my mind.
Oh yeah.
But I concealed it very well because I don't make noise when I cry. It's just a lot of chest contractions because I'm trying. My boys don't cry, right?
Right.
It's a lot of chest contractions and like my eyes start watering, but I also sweat in the sun. So I was like, maybe people will think it's I sweat.
Yeah, I have bad tear ducts. My tear ducts react before anything else does in terms of like.
So everything just waters immediately?
Yeah, I'm a big crier too.
I remember it Intoxicated live show.
Oh my God!
At one point, you just looked at me and you like, I think you grabbed my arms and you were just like looking at me and you started tearing up. But things were going well. Like the problems were being fixed while it happened. Your eyes were tearing up. And I was like, your makeup looks great. Stop. And then you were just like, and then turned around, like walked around, came back, and then you were good. And then everything.
I'm really scared I'm scared that that's how I'm going to act before my first set. Mind you, it's not like anywhere near what was the live show, but like,
can I tell you
it's a different kind of nerves.
I still do that.
Yeah.
I always, sometimes if it's like a show that I feel a lot of pressure, like everybody else is doing super well, and I feel like I have to deliver to that quality, my left arm will go numb. And I'm like, am I having a heart attack? No, this is for sure an anxiety attack. And I also have like a lot of facial twitch. So when I first started doing comedy, it was really, really bad. Now I like do breathing exercises to stop it. But my anxiety manifests itself in facial twitches. So
really?
Real bad. It was like I've almost gotten arrested for it twice.
Because they thought you're on drugs?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody.
Holy
my dad,
fuck.
growing up, my dad always thought I was on drugs because I was always nervous. So I would roll my jaw and grind my teeth, and I like blink a lot, but like not in sequence, which is something that people like something common attributed to people with Tourette's.
Right.
Anyway, so they wanted to give me medication for that once upon a time, but I was like, I'm cool with this. Doesn't matter. I'll strive to just not be anxious anymore, and then that won't happen. But whatever. So I roll my jaw, and then so when I first started doing comedy, everybody just thought I was ripped on blow. Because even when I was on stage, I was talking and my jaw was rolling, and as I was waiting for laughs, I was just like having a good time, and I'm still laughing and like being there and having fun because I'm enjoying it. But subconsciously, my jaw is just because your body just does things sometimes, and you don't know why you're doing it, but you just can't stop it. So I'm just doing that, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I could see people want to laugh, but then look at me like, this guy's fucked up.
Really?
And I was like, what's going on? And then it only took like 3-4 weeks before somebody pulled me aside and was like, yo, dude, do you like need help and shit? And I was like, no, it's anxiety.
Right.
And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, like, I don't do drugs. I smoke a lot of weed. I do mushrooms when I'm really sad. I don't even drink. I quit drinking because it was never great.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going into comedy. So I've drank. I'm not saying that I haven't drank since I've started doing comedy, but I stopped drinking like a couple weeks within doing comedy.
Right.
Like 2 weeks, I think, because I was like, I'm gonna be around bars.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to drink every night.
Even 3 drinks.
Even 3 drinks a night. I'm gonna get fat, hate myself, get depressed, not want to perform. And it's gonna be a vicious cycle.
Be hungover all the time.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a vicious cycle that I don't want to get myself into.
Yeah.
So I told myself that it would be responsible to quit drinking and just start smoking because that's how I'm more social. It also helps the anxiety.
Yes.
If I smoke sativa before going on stage, my facial twitches will. That's why I'm always really stoned, because I rather be stoned and a little scared than be twitching. And
like twitching and ridiculously anxious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a feedback loop, because I'm twitching because I'm anxious, noticing that they notice that I'm rolling my jaw, getting more anxious, that they're recognizing it, and because I'm getting more anxious, they're getting worse, and like I get fidgety and stuff. And I mean, you no harm. I'm just not feeling myself in the moment.
Did you ever make a joke about it? Be like, I'm not on drugs, I'm just very anxious.
Yeah, I have a whole bit that I was doing for a little while, and it was very well received for the most part, except for one. I did it one time, and a bunch of people who did a lot of blow were like, "You've never done blow?" And I'm like, "No."
Right.
And they're like, "You gotta." And I was like, "No." And then they went on for hours. We were outside smoking. They were mentioning it. We were inside drinking, like, or just hanging out. They'd be mentioning it. And I was like, "No." And then I was in the bathroom, and I was at a urinal, and I was taking a pee, and a key just went, and it was full of cocaine. And in that moment, I was like, I can just take it, and it'll be fucking over with, and then I don't have to deal with them anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And then I had like a second. I finished peeing, and I was just like, nah, I don't need this. And then in that moment, I was like, I can't allow myself, because I just say yes to things all the time, right?
That's right.
Been over this, so I can't put myself in this situation ever again.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing the joke.
Good.
Yeah, it was a whole thing about when you're in bars, you're always around people with cocaine, who do cocaine, and I don't have that kind of disposable income.
Yeah.
So fortunately for myself, I have the cheaper alternative, which is anxiety.
Exactly. I like that. It's the same feeling.
And then I go comparatively why they're the exact same thing. Just going all the way through, and like
I love that.
all of the examples is why people with anxiety have a lot of the same symptoms as people who are high on cocaine. And it's like we can have a conversation and they'll talk to me because they don't know the difference, or they won't try to offer me cocaine because they think I'm already on it, right? And the only benefit of having anxiety over cocaine is I don't come the consistency of quinoa. Don't know if you've ever seen somebody come on cocaine, but disgusting.
Yeah. Like, I've only done it 3 times, and I think 2 of the 3 were during sex. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't have the personality for it either.
Say that?
It's the end of the episode.
Joking. Thank you guys for listening.
Mom and Dad, if you made it through this one.
Mom and Dad, I
of
love
all
you.
the episodes.
She's super responsible. Don't be mad.
It was only 3 times. And that was
good.
That was
out of what,
10 years ago. Was that?
Out of 31 years?
33.
33. So out of 31 every 11 years. You did a bump per 11 years.
And and going back to the people pleasing thing, I only did coke to bond with my boyfriend because he was into it. Yeah.
Fair. I feel like that happens very often. And I've done things similar. I've also done things very, very similar. So I get where you're coming from.
At the time I didn't really realize it was that. I was like, oh, I'm just being...
when you're in the moment,
I'm being a young kid. Like,
it's impossible to also just always be reflecting what's the morality of the situation when you're in that situation.
That's right.
If somebody's like... Because not everybody's thinking like that. So if somebody's like, do this thing, you're not going to be like, how is this going to affect me long term? You're like, if I do it, is he going to stop? Sometimes that's just how it works.
That is how it works.
So I get where... I'm sorry that happened, but...
Oh, I mean... Yeah. Worse things have happened.
Yeah, dating a dude who does a lot of cocaine just means he doesn't have disposable income to like buy you treats and stuff. So fuck that guy.
Aww.
That's not true. A lot of doctors and lawyers.
Yeah. A lot of people have the money for
it started the Industrial Revolution.
But
like
that's like one of the main things.
People are
like,
really efficient.
When people have a thing that they do consistently, like as a vice, whether that's booze or weed or whatever, like I don't have I drink way less than I used to. And I wouldn't even say that drinking is my vice. But, like, I never understood how people have that money. But I guess I just spend my money in other ways. You know? Like... Yeah.
On reasonable things? It's not cocaine?
Well, I don't know. Is $30 eyeliner reasonable?
It's not going up your nose and damaging your brain. Yeah,
that's
you're doing good.
True.
If you're doing cocaine to, like... get somebody who's being falsely committed of a crime off, or saving somebody's life because you need that little edge to get you through the surgery, fuck yeah, do that cocaine.
Do it.
If you're doing cocaine because you're trying to impress someone, don't do the cocaine.
Exactly. Don't. Yeah, I think that should be the message of this episode.
Learn to dance.
Don't do drugs to impress people, everybody. But
That's not why I do this,
do drugs to
stop being sad.
Yes, I gotta do mushrooms. I think that has to happen this summer.
Do you guys want to see Sarah doing mushrooms live? We could make it a documentary.
I could. I mean, hey.
We'll look into the legality of it first.
Yeah, I definitely want to do it with people I enjoy. Like, and you're in that category. So if you ever want to do mushrooms together, I'm down.
I'd love that.
Oh, unpopular opinion. Do you have an unpopular opinion? Did we think of one?
No, I haven't been thinking about it at all. Lemonade sucks dick. Fuck that juice. If you like lemonade, if you like anything mixed with lemonade.
I love lemonade. What do you know? It's too sour for you?
No, it's dog shit. it's
There are really harsh feelings to lemonade.
It's a $60 fruit. It's shit. You're squeezing gross a fruit that you'll never eat. If you eat lemons for fun, fine. Fucking drink your lemonade, you weirdo. That's like being like, I love hamburgers. So then you start drinking ground beef juice. Like it's stupid. It's just I hate lemonade. I also don't like Jell-O.
Okay.
Those are unpopular opinions.
That is unpopular. Most people like okay.
If you're in prison or in the hospital or in school, hope you like Jell-O.
Yeah.
Those are 3 places that I hated.
Okay, that's fair. Interesting.
I hate Jell-O.
Oh man. Well, Brian, we're gonna wrap it up. Unfortunately,
thank you for having me. This has been super fun.
This has been so fun. And again, like, I mean, come back on whenever you fucking want. Like, you got regular status before anybody else.
I appreciate
regular
that. Thank
status.
you so
Can people follow you on things?
I'd rather not when I'm alone if it's... yeah.
Fuck you.
If you want to hang out, we can. Just don't follow me. That's normally startling. That's never led to anything good before. I'm not on Twitter because Twitter's a hate space, and that's scary. I don't have a Facebook page because only old people use Facebook, and old ladies
you don't?
like me too
You're
much.
not actually on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook, but I don't have a comedy page.
Oh, right.
If you want to befriend me
That's
on
fair.
Facebook to like play Words with Friends, I guess. Fuck yeah, do that, I guess. But Instagram is the only one that I really use.
Okay.
Which is definitely not Otter with periods in front instead of spaces.
Put it right here.
Definitely not otters. Who I am, not what I am. I apologize in advance.
Although otters are my favorite animal.
They're fucking sick. They're awful.
Do you
awful.
identify with the traits of an otter at all?
Not at all.
What are you talking about? They're the most fun animal. If you go to like a wildlife park or a zoo, they always look like they're having fun.
Because they're in a cage and they have nothing else to do but just float around. If those creatures weren't in that cage, they're heinous monsters.
Do you think that they're heinous?
Okay, I relate to a caged otter. the cage in my mind.
Spat on the bridge. Still just an otter in a cage.
It's super fucked up. Sea otters are specifically since I've been otter for 12 years now, and that's just what everybody calls me. And if I introduce myself as something else other than that, it just gets weird quick. And since I've been called Otter, every week somebody gives me an Otter fact or will tag me in something or send me something. And I love them. But people were always sending me these same cute facts, being like, "Did you know otters hold hands when they swim?" Like, a lot of things hold hands. Yeah. Like, it's a fun thing to do. Duh. They're not special. And like otters have rocks in their pouches and then give it to their lovers to show affections. It's like, yeah, that's how penguins get married. Like, a lot of like, you're not telling me anything special. Cool, I'm glad that they do it as well, but tell me something interesting. And then I went deep diving, and then I found all the interesting stuff about otters is devastating. They're saltwater monsters.
Oh my god!
Specifically to themselves, they're awful to other things. Like, specifically, male sea otters are monsters. Female sea otters are vicious, and they're very protective of their young. But I understand that the male ones are the freaky ones.
Really?
Male sea otters behave like how you'd think, how some men act in the street based off of the things that people post online.
Really?
They're monsters. They do all of the things that people are afraid of, and people are like, they're amazing. It's like, look into it. They're not. They're not that great. Male sea otters, adults will grab seal pups, right? They'll take these seal pups and be like, "You're cute," and then grab a rock. It's bigger than the seal pup's head, and will smash the seal pup in the head repetitively until it's not dead, but not able to bite or move, still breathing, and it can still be fed like a baby bird. And then it uses it as a sex puppet.
Stop it, Brian. Is this real?
I swear to God. You can Google this. You can Animal Planet. You can watch videos of it.
I am going to Google it. I'm calling you out on your shit.
It's insanity.
What is this? Sea male?
Or just write sea otter seal or sea otter seal puppet, I guess. Pup. Yeah.
I don't want to watch any video of it. The violent. Okay. Okay.
And then they share them.
That's so unfortunate.
They share them. So it kills a sea otter and it brings it around and it fucks it. And it gives it to its friends to fuck it for status.
That is so fucked.
So if an otter is fucking a sea pup and gives it to another otter, that other otter later will give him food.
Oh my Jesus.
So it's like, hey guys, you want to fuck my seal? Like, it's kind of like when people have sex robots, they're probably going to do this. It's like a sex robot hostel instead of cute little baby seals, which is super unfortunate. It's insane. They're and whenever people are like, I can see you as an otter, I'm like, you're monsters. Stop, please look into it.
I was thinking of like the river otters at the wildlife park. They're like always running around having a good time. They're like going down the slides. I'm like, that's Bryan Otter.
Stop labeling people things before you know who they are. It's essentially the
moral
of that story.
What a way to close an episode. Just absolutely blowing my mind. I did not know that at all.
You can call me that, but please don't tell me I act like that.
That's fair. They are cute though.
That's why I say it's who I am, not what I am.
The river otters are really cute. Like a baby river otter.
Yeah, they're cute as fuck.
Baby river otter. Like I just want to hold.
We have them up north in New Brunswick.
I want to hold one of you.
You shouldn't. You'll have like Lyme disease from ticks.
I would get the Lyme disease to hold little baby.
We'd have to get a clone of you.
That's okay. The world could use more of me.
That's true. That's dope. That's what happened to Avril Lavigne.
Okay, we're done.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Bryan, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This has been super fucking fun.
What a wild fucking ride. Jesus Christ. Ring that bell. Jesus Christ. Sea otter sex puppet.